The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Madison Square Garden this evening with The Who. The Who are playing a show at Madison Square Garden. They've just left the stage for the interval. It's an afternoon show here at Madison Square Garden. Obviously, it's night time in England.
About 5 o'clock, isn't it?
It's about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Madison Square Garden in New York City. We didn't bring our watches.
Watches are for squares.
Yeah. And as Pete Townsend, Roger Daltrey, John M... no, he's dead. And the rest of the guys leave the stage for the interweek. Here, listen to that crowd going nuts for the Who. Bloody hell! They're going apeshit! Well, they are going absolutely crazy there for the...
Oh, they've all gone quiet.
Well, because we've stepped out. You can hear them. They're going to be chanting for quite a long time. We have stepped out to the... I wouldn't call it a lobby. I'd call it... we're at the refreshment stands. Kath, would you like a drink?
Fine, thank you.
OK, I'm going to... hang on a minute. I'm looking at these fine American refreshments here. And
I'm going to have a root beer.
OK.
And a meat dog.
Hang on a second. OK, fine. Could we get... hang on a second. Root beer for the lady. Oh, hang on, root beer for the lady. OK, and I'm going to have a Pepsi Cola, please. There we go. And we'll get some of those. We're going back now. So we're live at Madison Square Garden this evening, and but welcome to all our new listeners, all our new followers, showbiz journalists around the country, 15-year-old reporters who just simply lift things off of Twitter and take words and sentences out of context on radio shows and print them online and sometimes in newspapers. Don't worry. I know why you're here, and I will this evening tell you exactly what happened earlier on today. I promise you'll get your story. You'll be able to file it before midnight. That's going to happen. You've got that. Just get ready. That's going to happen. In the meantime, from Madison Square Garden, we've got some great phoning topics this evening, and these are they. Number one is famous conveyor belts, and that links up to a story that I read in the paper. I haven't actually read the story. We'll do it later.
Doesn't matter. Just read the headline.
There almost wasn't a conveyor belt in the Generazione Gamos, the Generation game. There almost wasn't. So famous conveyor belts. And I'm trying to think. I remember once I did a pilot for a TV show called You Don't Know Jack, right? And it was a quiz. And let's walk a little bit further away from it. And at great expense, they had a conveyor belt in the studio, right, put into the floor. So I walked out from behind the scenery, stood on the conveyor belt, and it just took me up to the podium where I stood and did the questions. It was a really funny gag. It was a terrible pilot that never got picked up. But there must be...
I've got one.
I've got one. Go on.
Bertha's mouth. Remember Bertha?
Yeah.
Lovely Bertha.
I've got one. The Travelator. That's a great one.
The one with Willy Wonka's everlasting gobstoppers on that went... Remember? No? Mm-hmm. I had to make that really fast.
OK, you didn't. You're not... You're not essential for the start of the show, so you could have really taken your time.
Do you want to go stick a bag back in it?
No, don't.
I mean, that's poor.
So we've got that famous conveyor belts. Which we did this one recently. I remembered now. Which B-sides are better than the A-sides? God only knows was the B-side to Wouldn't It Be Nice. Imagine that. Someone said on Twitter, and I'd agree with this, Rain is better than Paperback Writer. Have you heard the Beatles song Rain?
No, I haven't.
Let the rain come so everyone can see that the rain shines down. You've not heard that?
Fair play, that is better than Paperback Writer.
I like Paperback Writer, but Rain's a bit of a mess, actually. But so we've got that. Crap films that you really love. Well, is there a crap film that people go, oh, it's crap, and you go, do you know what? I know it gets 4.6 on IMDb, but I just...
You like two films that I hate. They are officially crap.
Well, okay.
Anaconda and Congo.
I don't think I've ever seen Congo.
Right.
You're confusing me with your other presenter. So there's that. 0344 499 1000. Where is the worst place that you have had a sleep? And some of you were tweeting me some really good answers. It's a phoning show, not a tweeting show. What have you broken in someone else's house? Someone told me, again on Twitter, a really good story about scratching something in someone else's house, but I don't remember it. So if you know that person, if you could encourage them to call in. Right, so I was on the phone to my kids today, my 6-year-old, and I said, dude, I'm trying to come up with some subjects for people to phone in with. And as soon as I said it, I thought, I know what he's going to say. I said, have you got any questions for the listeners? He went, yeah. Have you ever seen a ghost?
Right, this is the one that he asked last time, and he got completely spooked.
He was in tears. He was sat there in tears, and he had nightmares for a month afterwards.
But to be fair, he did misunderstand one of the stories. There was a woman who'd seen the outline of a cat, and what he thought she said was that she'd seen, like, the lining of a cat, like the skin turned inside out, which is a horrific image.
So for my son, have you ever seen a ghost? 0344 499 1000. I think Ross is watching us on YouTube. He says, there is no time delay on the feed from you in New York. That's because it's not 1986. How much are the hot dogs? They're $5. It's amazing as the mics are the same as your studio mics. Well, that is because this is all green screened. This is green screened. And can you send me a postcard, please? It's
old-fashioned, mate. Old-fashioned.
That can't happen. Here's a trick I like to do. We've got the adverts coming up, guys. They're loving that. We'll just put the microphone in the thing there. Forgot they could see us. That's nice. So 03. We got Alan Caddick, we got Rainbow George, we got Zach, we got Andre, and we've got Ewan, who I'm starting to get a bit sick of. If I'm honest.
You mean
Iain? I'd say we've got no birds. Sorry, because we got no chicks. We got no chicks.
No, try again.
Well, you should have heard what I was going to say, and I stopped myself saying.
Not again.
If you want to come and. If there are any ladies listening that want to come and entertain some gentlemen folk and just waft their beautiful perfume around the phone-in show,
did James Whale not leave?
You'd be very, very welcome. Ladies especially welcome. And if you want to know what happened today, you'll get that. I promise. I know a lot of journalists are waiting on that. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. This is the Late Night Alternative, live from Madison Square Garden in New York.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Okay, live from Madison Square Garden, and The Who will be coming back on stage. It's an afternoon concert. It's for disabled children. It's for the orphans of 9/11. So they'll be coming on to do a show later on. And if you want to know what happened today on Channel 5, I'm going to give you all of the details a little bit later on. Before that, though, let's go to... Hello, George.
Hello.
Hello, George. You're on the air.
I'm on the air. I didn't realise I was on the air last night.
Oh, did you not? I thought... Oh,
you did say.
I think I said. I'm pretty sure I said.
I think you did, yes. I played it back. I played the whole programme.
Oh, you absolute pudding.
And
you've been doing this game longer than me. You should have known the reverential tones of someone who's on air.
I didn't realise. I feel really stupid.
Well, you shouldn't feel. Well, okay. Next time I'm going to make it. Can we get a siren that says "You're on air, you're on air," and we'll play it. For people like George. Old people is what I'm saying. How you doing, George? You all right?
Yeah, there were a couple of things you got wrong in your introduction to the call.
Oh, go on. Correct me.
You said I got £1 million for the house in Hampstead. It's I should have got $1 million, but as I was waiting to acquire ownership, I ran up quite a substantial debt, and I ended up with £478,290.69.
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to do the pennies, and you did.
Yeah, well, by the time I got down to the 69 pence a few years later, I'd had a bit of an adventure with the money, spent most of it in...
Have I got it right, though, George, that you squatted in that house? And
I didn't squat.
No, what did you do? How did it work?
My landlord... I told you I moved back into the house on January the 1st, 1984. I'd been away for 8 years, and... my original landlord had died and his son had become the landlord.
Right.
And there was some question about rent that he thought hadn't been paid for a few months. And and which wasn't correct, but it developed into a situation where I never paid him any rent at all, and the rent wasn't expensive. It was only something like 25 quid. 25 quid a month, I think it was, or something like that.
This is the 1800s or something. £25 a month?
Something like that.
Incredible.
Yeah. And that's 1984.
Yeah.
And then it built up to a situation. I mean, the benefit people offered to pay him the rent, and he didn't reply to them at all. And it built up to a situation which links to the worst night you've ever spent anywhere.
Here we go.
And that was in Wandsworth Prison. My first night in Wandsworth Prison. That was at the end of August 1989.
And this was for not paying the rent?
No.
Oh.
This was for supposedly selling some LSD to a couple of News of the World reporters.
Oh.
And,
naughty.
Well, it wasn't naughty. I got set up and ended up with a 9-month sentence.
Really? For selling some tabs of LSD?
Yeah.
Flipping heck, man. That's bad news.
Anyway, my first night in Wandsworth was horrible. They put me on the paedophiles wing for some reason, and I was quite frightened on that first night. But I was only in Wandsworth for a week, and then I was in Brixton for another week, and ended up in High Point, which was okay in Suffolk. But I came out of prison on the second day of the 90s. My last day in prison was January the 1st, 1990. I came out on the 2nd.
Yeah.
And while I'd been in prison, my landlord had been trying to get me out of the property permanently. And I arrived back to find out he'd been in and out of the property whilst I'd been in prison, apparently. And I get home and the place is underwater. There's a hole has developed in the roof, and I really wanted to go back to prison.
Yeah,
but I phoned him up, and he sent builders round, and they put a new roof on the building. And then I asked him to pay for the damage that had been caused by the water coming through the ceiling. And that was the last I heard from him. I never heard from him again. And when I knew that I hadn't had any contact with him for 12 years, I claimed the property for myself, and I was given the property. So
isn't that incredible? Isn't that incredible? I told you he was a fascinating person, Kath, didn't I? Isn't that an incredible? So I can understand why you'd not want to pay the repairs, and there was money and stuff like that.
But not claiming the rent.
But just to disappear and then let you take. Did you ever speak to him ever again?
No. It's I don't know. You've inspired a few thoughts in my mind tonight. Anyway, being with The Who there.
Yeah.
I think it's about time we started up a band called.
Here we go.
The Y, the WHY, and I think we'll get that band together on April the 14th. I've told you about this gig we're having, so maybe that band will come together on that evening. So that's inspired by you. And,
hey, beautiful! Thank you, man. Well, I'm glad to have helped in some way.
Did you tune into that link I gave you, Rainbow George, into the Mystic?
I haven't today, George. I'm going to be honest. Today has been quite a stressful day for me for various reasons. So, no, I haven't. But tomorrow I am free all day. And when I'll wake up about 11 o'clock midday tomorrow. I'm going to make it my first point of call is to go and have a listen to that.
Maybe you'll give me a call off here and we can talk about some exciting things. I think you're going to become...
Hang on a minute. Are you trying to get me to sell you LSD? Is he really an undercover newspaper person?
No, I think you're going to become known as Iain Glee, and we're going to have a good time together.
You're spoiling me.
No, I'm sure you're going to get involved in the wonder.
I love you, mate. Honestly, I've listened to you for years, and I love you, and I love your stories, and I love your association with Peter Cook. I hadn't heard the full details of the house, the apartment thing before, and so. If I'm definitely free that date in April, I'm going to do my best to come down.
Good. Do you know my Ian Dury connections at all?
No, I don't. Go on.
Don't you?
No.
Ian became a close friend. He moved to Hampstead.
Let me interrupt for 1 second. LBC won't let this guy on their station. They do not know what they are missing. These rich stories.
In the words of Pretty Woman. Big mistake.
Exactly. Go tell us about Ian Dury, please, George. Go on.
Well, I'll say we became quite close when he moved to Hampstead. I met him at Peter Cook's house. Wow. Peter was having a party when they released the Derek and Clive Get the Horn tape, and Peter had a party back at his house afterwards, and Ian was there, and Ronnie Wood was there, Keith Richard was there, lots of Clive Anderson, lots of interesting people. Yeah. And Keith and Ronnie and me were the last three people to leave that party, and Peter filmed us. They had a coach at the top of the Mews, and Peter filmed us going to their coach about 6 o'clock in the morning, I think it was, or something like that. And Ian recorded a poem that I scribed called Rainbow Land. That's on YouTube as well. Ian Dury, Rainbow Land, and I sampled his voice on that on something else that is really nice on YouTube. It's a song that I'd love you to play. It's called Scoring Goals.
George, can I ask, because we share a common, I know you've not spoken to him for a while, but a common friend in Clive Bull. And Clive told me that he came round to your place once.
The day before I went to prison.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
And there were piles of cassettes everywhere, because you used to record everything.
Not everything, but a lot. Certainly the first couple of years, because I was looking... I think I mentioned it yesterday. I was looking to put together 7 one-hour tapes. So I was recording conversations in my living room that I wanted to use on those tapes, as well as calls I was making to radio stations and what have you.
Have you still got those tapes?
Of course I have. I've got 33 years of tapes.
Right. I've had an idea. You and me need to do all right, it's up to you, of course, obviously. We should do a podcast where we go through some of those tapes and dig out bits, and I interview you, or you don't even need me to interview you, but I'll record it, and you chat about what is on that bit of tape, and then we play a bit of that tape.
I think it would go viral.
I think it might do. We put it out as a podcast on iTunes. I can do all that.
I'd love to do that. There's a book coming out about me in the summer.
Yeah.
It's called Making a Profit, Prophet, and it tells the story of how I made my late friend Ronnie Carroll. Do you know the name?
No, I do know the name Ronnie Carroll, but I can't think who that is.
Ronnie Carroll was an Irish crooner.
Right.
And he represented the UK in 2 Eurovision Song Contests.
There we go, of course.
In 62 and 63. Yep. He came fourth both times. I used to say Ronnie was a very forthcoming sort of guy.
There we go.
And he was on his way out of this world, coming up to the 2016 general election.
Yeah.
And I asked him if he would be a candidate in Hampstead and Kilburn, and he was up for it. He'd been involved with me for about 20 years and had stood in various elections and by-elections. And he died a couple of weeks before the election, but he was still on the ballot paper.
How many votes did he get?
He got 113 votes, even though he was dead. And then when the election came up in 2018, I stood in the election on the same platform that I'd given Ronnie to stand on, and I got about, I can't even remember, but I didn't get 100 votes, so Ronnie got more votes dead than I got alive.
George, right, I've written down in my diary, call George tomorrow, right? I seriously think that you and I, maybe Kath, if you want to be involved, we should do a podcast. As well. We should do a podcast with those tapes, all that stuff you've got. We can go through. We can do the technical stuff. We can record it and digitise some of the tape, not all of it. It's 33 bloody years of it. We can upload it to iTunes. We can put it out as a podcast.
That would be so lovely.
We're going to do it, man. We're going to do it, definitely. George, listen, I'm going to move on. I'll give you a call tomorrow, OK?
Lovely. I look forward to hearing from you.
Take care.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
Catherine.
Hey,
there we go.
Thank you, George.
LBC won't allow him on, right? And already, in that 15 minutes, he's given us better stories than we've had on this show in the last 2 or 3 months. Maybe that's a slight exaggeration. But it's got 33 years' worth of tapes. There'll be more Peter Cook stuff. There'll be kind of boring stuff. There'll be interesting stuff. There'll be weird stuff. We digitise it. We get him to top and tail it. You've got a podcast every fortnight.
Incredible.
So you go and sit with him for a few hours and record it, and we put a podcast out every fortnight. The Rainbow George tapes or whatever. This is something in this. Oh, there's something in this. That'll be good, isn't it? You up for that?
Yeah, of course I am.
All right, fine. He's in North London. We'll do that. Right. Onwards and upwards, dear listener. Oh, hang on. There we go. Think the Who might be coming back. I think... Hang on. Madison Square Garden. This is where the show's coming from. It's Talk Radio.
Unmissable late night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation.
Make contact with Iain Lee.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Hang on, I've done something with the iTunes. I've made the iTunes go small. There we go. There we go. Okay, well we're gonna back away. We're gonna back away from that, and and we are going to have another root beer. Nope. Oh, balls. There we go. There's one root beer for you, Catherine.
Oh, delish.
And I'm going to have a tab.
Oh, tab clear.
Nice drinks. If you're listening, showbiz people, if you're listening for what you'll get it. You'll get what happened today. The inside goss, I promise. But tonight, famous conveyor belts, B-sides that are better than A-sides. Now, here we go. Catherine, I've known Catherine for too long, and she said something to me today that made me stop in my tracks and think, oh, what? That's weird. And I went, what? And she told me again, and I wrote it down surreptitiously. I know
exactly what you've written down.
Well, go on.
My remembering place.
Yeah, now, Kath has got a remembering place. Is this a euphemism for your foo-foo?
No.
Okay.
I won't find anything in there.
No, I think it would be...
All right, moving on.
Best forgotten. Gone but not forgotten.
Private is what it is, private. No, my remembering place
Kath has got a remembering place.
You know, for those moments where you go, where did I put that thing that I'm going to need, not now, like, for example, in this case, I'm talking about, because he always nicks my pens, and I do have a pencil case, and it ends up being emptied over a course of time.
Yeah.
And I like a specific kind of pen. Yeah. And so does Ian. My pens.
These, I've got to say, and these Muji pens are really, really good pens.
They're excellent. I buy them in packs of like 10 or 12.
Because I nick them.
Because they never stay in my pencil case. No. Anyway, so I've got a
do you
fresh
prefer Do you prefer pencils or pencil sharpeners?
Pencils.
Really?
Yeah, you can use a knife.
I like pencil sharpeners because they look like a vagina.
No. So, I've got this fresh batch of pens, and I'm not going to need them for a good month or so, but I will need them. And by the time I get to them, I won't remember where they are. But yes, I will, because they're in my remembering place. And the remembering place is on top of the bread bin.
Is that a euphemism for your food?
Bread bin?
The bread bin.
Hell no.
Well, because my bread bin is got crumbs.
You need to sweep yours out.
Stale pan au chocolat.
That's like you need to clear out, mate. Anyway, so where's your remembering place? Call me now.
There we go. It's a lot of fun. Good evening. And people thought we were running out of ideas and this show was going off the boil. Welcome, guys. Good evening.
Very much on the boil today.
But the thing is, we're watching the pot. Good evening, Pippa.
Good evening, lovely.
Good evening. Oh, is she talking to me or you?
You.
Yeah, that's correct. I knew that. I just didn't want to sound big-headed, but you're right. I am lovely, and Catherine is a sourpuss.
I think in the interest of equality, you should be love and darling, and I could be Catherine.
Oh God! Listen to you being all lesbian.
I didn't mean to start a row.
Well, you've started a row, Pippa. You've started.
We can do it.
The feminazis. Feminazis. Imagine.
Stop imagining and talk.
Okay, Pippa, what have you got for us, my sweetheart?
It was just a comment, really lovely. I rang you before Christmas about your dad and Auntie Hazel.
Oh, yeah, my dad kipped at yours sometimes.
Hello. I just felt after the last few days, and in particular your pretty crap day today, I just kind of felt I needed to say something to you, really.
Uh-oh, am I going to get told off? Is the spirit of my dad possessing you to give me a rollicking?
No, not at all. Quite the opposite.
Oh.
I can't really claim to have known your dad very well, but I did know your Auntie Hazel extremely well.
Lovely Auntie
And I just wanted to say to you today, if she was here, she would say to you, hold your head up
you're
high.
You're going to make me cry. Go on.
Never apologise for who you are, and don't let the bastards get you down, mate.
Yeah.
That's what she'd be saying to you today.
Oh, you're going to set me off. Yeah, you're right.
Well, I think you needed to hear that today. I thought maybe that'd help you out a little bit today.
Thank you, mate. Can I just say, right, I'm fine. Right, to everyone, I'm fine. And today I consider it to be a victory. I'm fine. But I'm not saying this to you, Pip. I'm saying because a lot of people have said, I'm fine. But that's a really lovely thing, a very kind thing to phone up and do, Pip, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Nice to speak to you.
All right, lovely. Thank you.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
There we go.
Pippa.
My Auntie Hazel, right? I've said this before. I may have told this story before. But we didn't see my dad's side of the family from when I was 15, because that's when he left. And I made this decision that I wasn't going to see that side of the family. Terrible decision, because I had 2 uncles and 2 aunts. And my nan and granddad. Never saw my nan and granddad again. Never saw them again. Imagine that. Jeez, it was a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. Loads of cousins. And so I didn't see them until my dad was dying, like 5 years ago. And I saw Auntie Hazel. Auntie Hazel was coming to visit my dad, and me and my sister like, this is going to be weird. And it wasn't. It was lovely. And it's like, all right, fine. We're going to start seeing the aunts and uncles again. This is wicked. And then I don't remember how quick it was, but it was like a few weeks after my dad died, got a phone call saying Hazel had leukemia, right? So I went and saw her in the hospital, and we had to sit on other sides of the room because she was on loads of, I don't know, chemo or whatever it was. But she was really sensitive to infections. And I sat and chatted with her for an hour, and it was great. And then she died. Imagine. And then, because... Anyway, I've not kept in touch with that side of the family again, and that's something I need to pick up, and I will pick up. 0344 499 1000. Let's go to Alan Caddick. Good evening, Alan.
Evening, Mark. Evening, Kath.
Let's go through... Kath's not talking to you.
I am the boss.
No. Let's go through these topics, Alan. Let's see what you've got.
I've got a question first before you go through the topics. How much is the Who T-shirt?
Oh, the Who T-shirts. Let me hang on a minute. Let me just go and have a.
Go to the merch stand.
Hang on a second. Let me just.
Probably in double XL.
Hang on a second. Double XL. Hang on a second. It's quite some distance away. Hang on. Same price. Hang on. Oh, here we go. Let's go. Let's go. Excuse me, sir. The Who. The T-shirts for the Who. Can you tell me?
भाई क्या खा रहे हो?
यार मावा खा रहा हूँ.
Yeah, the T-shirts.
सुना है बड़ा महंगा हो गया मावा.
हाँ यार ये कुत्ते के बच्चों ने 35-40 का कर दिया है.
कितने मावे खा लेते हो दिन में?
यार दिन में 5 मावे तो खा ही लेता हूँ.
5 मावे यार ये तो बड़ा मुश्किल है फिर. 5 मावे कैसे पूरे करते हो?
यार ये मांगने वाली माँ ना चुदाए ना.
$25 each.
So the current weight of exchange will be about $17.99.
Yeah, something like that.
Sounds reasonable.
It does, doesn't it? Can you name a famous conveyor belt, please?
Well, there's that conveyor belt on Don't Forget Your Toothbrush with Chris Evans.
Oh, wait, what was the conveyor belt? I don't really remember that programme very well. What was on the conveyor belt? Where was it? What was going on?
You used to walk on it.
Oh, yeah, all right. I'm not going to write this down. So we got that. There was also the conveyor belts with the walking on that Go Now video. You know the 4 dudes where they're doing what are they called? Go Team.
Go Team.
Go Team. The Go Team. The Go Team. The Go Team. The Go Team video. There's conveyor belts there.
Well, they're more like treadmills, aren't they? Okay,
yeah, but it's conveyor belt technology. It's conveyor belt technology.
And they made that into a Big Brother task.
What? Don't forget your toothbrush?
No, that Go Team video, they made that a Big Brother task in Big Brother 10.
Well, name a crap film that you really love.
Superman 4, but Christopher P.
Oh, shut up. You know where that was filmed?
New York.
Shut up, man. You know where that was filmed?
Milton Keynes, City of Dreams.
Yeah. Filmed in Milton Keynes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, when you claim it as a film that you like.
Which other iconic, I would say movie, but it's not really a movie, it's more of a musical moment, was filmed in Milton Keynes?
Oh, that was Taylor Swift, Shake It Off.
Nope.
Yes, it was.
Nope.
Yes, it was.
Nope.
Yes, it was.
Nope.
It was. It
Nope.
may not be the one you're thinking, but it was Taylor Swift, Shake It Off.
Cads, what do you reckon?
What was the one you were thinking, Kath?
I like small speakers.
Because Richard was the sound.
Boom.
Yep.
He was skating through Milton Keynes, Centre MK.
He copied Taylor Swift. And you're not allowed to skate in Milton Keynes now because of all the spice use. Okay. Where's the worst place you've had a sleep?
Worst place I've had a sleep was at the Glee Club after the third comedian.
Oh, hang on a minute. This is his birthday.
Hang on.
This was the other week.
Had you had too much pop, or were you just very tired?
I was so hard I fell asleep. Joyce and security had to wake me up.
You were so high. And the thing is, we know from experience, because we've all slept with Alan in one way or another, he's a snorer.
And he talks in his sleep.
Is a snorer. So hang on a minute. Your mum and dad bought you tickets to. Your mum and dad bought you a ticket to the Glee and a curry to go to the Glee Club.
They wanted out all night.
And you fell asleep. You were so hyped up, you fell asleep.
Yeah.
And what? So what did you get chucked out?
No.
They just woke you up.
Yeah. Twice.
Twice.
He nestled back down after the first time.
Twice!
Wow.
Oh, mate, those comedians must have left feeling so happy about themselves.
Well, this way, the last one, I was worried about getting home. I didn't think I wanted to see the last one.
Great story, Alan. Nice to talk to you, mate.
Thank you.
Ta-ta. This is the...
Tales of mystery and imagination on the radio show that does things differently.
Dolly Parton, I listen to her records all day long.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
I'm a nut job, but not that kind of nut job.
On Talk Radio.
Honest to God, it's the new Breaking Bad.
Oh, no.
think The Who are coming to the end of their set now, guys. Let's listen to this. The Who live at Madison Square Garden singing Black Generation.
Before I get old. Don't you all
steady on, Roger.
Sweary rant.
Yeah. Live from Madison Square Garden, The Who. Just about to finish their set now. Here we go. Listen to it. Let's listen to it. Great job. Great energy. They've just walked off. The Who have just walked off.
Oh.
They've just walked off. Okay, well that we've left now. We've left Madison Square Garden.
That'll do, I think.
Yeah.
You got the vibe.
Yeah. We've that was the very. Is it funny how it can just change? The vibe can just change. Anyway, we've left Madison Square Garden now. We're just wandering around. In New York. Let's crack on with these phone calls. Good evening, Sally.
Hello,
Sally.
Hello.
Yep.
I kind of waft my perfume through the studio.
There we go. That's it. Take a little strut around the studio, girl. Go on.
Okay.
Sorry.
There we go.
Come on.
What? If you're ironic, you can say anything. I could be racist now and then go, I'm being ironic.
Not today.
Oh.
No.
Okay, not when all the journos are listening. No, you're right. Good evening, Sally. What have you got for us tonight?
Well, it's been so long since I rang. I thought I'd break my duck again on subjects and get myself in the rhythm again.
Here we go. This is the rhythm of the night. Okay. Have you ever seen a ghost? If you got to think about it, then the answer's no.
Apparently I did when I was a child, but no.
What have you broken? This is my favourite one, and this is the one I really want to take off. What have you broken in someone else's house?
Okay, I gave this one a lot of thought.
Yes.
And the only thing that I could think of was something. I broke a bed. I broke a bed.
Kath, you deal with this one. It's women's issues. You deal with it.
Sally.
Yeah.
Were you bouncing on it by yourself?
Oh no,
or with a friend?
With someone else. I was with a friend.
And they were just like jumping up and down on it. If any kids, just jumping up and down it like a trampoline. It's fun thing to do.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Worst place.
At what point? I mean, no, hang on. How long were you bouncing before it went?
Come on. I mean,
it was. You know, it was getting to the end, so it was a bit frustrating.
Well, the next question is the worst place you've had a kip, but I bet it's on a three-legged bed.
No, worst place I've kipped. During an endoscopy, I fell asleep.
That's the camera up the bum?
No, it's the camera down the throat, and they were removing stones from my bile duct.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Very soothing, I hear.
Why do we call it a kip? There's a question for you.
There is a question.
It's a good question. Why do we call it a kip? Kipling? Rudyard Kipling? Could it be something to do with Rudyard Kipling? No, it probably goes back further than that. A kip.
I bet it is something to do with the military Raj type thing.
A lot of these things have to do with military slang. Of course, we all know what Sweet FA stands for. What?
Yeah.
Sweet Fanny Adams.
Yeah. Everyone
They're
thinks
my initials too.
Well, everyone thinks it stands for Sweet F all.
They're my youngest daughter's initials too.
Really?
Yeah.
And you know the story of Fanny Adams. I think I've told you this before.
Yes.
She was like an 8-year-old girl that was brutally murdered in the 1800s and was chopped up. And so merchant seamen, come on, guys, would, if they got really crap meals and it was like horrible meat, nondescript meat, and they would call it Sweet FA, Sweet Fanny Adams.
Okay. Oh, B-sides. Sorry.
Is it hello? Yes. Go on.
Yeah. Go on. Okay. In 1995.
Yes.
Green Day released a song called Brain Stew.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But this other side was a song called No Pride, except for the release in Germany, which was...
Here we go.
Good Riddance, Time of Your Life.
That was... Well, hang on a minute. But that was an A-side at some places.
In 1998, it was an A-side. But in 1995, it was a B-side. Only in Germany.
I don't know if I can allow that because I'm going to say that. No, because it was an A-side ultimately.
But it started off as a B-side, and it was so good, it went to an A-side.
I tell you a great B-side, right. I don't know what the A-side was. I'm going to say a band, and you're going to go, what? I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
B-side, and it's different to the album version because the B-side is slathered in strings, right? And the album version ain't got the strings on, and I've not been able to find it since, right?
Yeah.
Travis did an amazing B-side called More Than Us, I think. And the B-side version...
Yes, you played it.
I might have done that. I'm an educator.
You did play it. I remember listening to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, just, hello, nice to speak to you again, and...
Thanks for calling.
Bye.
Tatty, bye. Let's go to Cleo. Good evening, Cleo.
Good evening, ladies and germs.
Okay.
That's the first time I've rung you in ages.
I know. Everyone's coming out of the woodwork. Everyone wants a piece of Lee after while he's clinging to the edges of his frail mental state. Everyone wants it. What you got for us, ma'am?
Pull you back.
What? Right, I forgot it's Cleo. He talks for bloody ages. You got 2 minutes.
I've got sleep apnea, so I'm going to go into where I've woken up in strange places.
Yeah, go on. No, that wasn't it. No, that wasn't it. No, Kath, who's doing Where Have You Woken Up in Strange Places?
I think that might be on London's Biggest C Word.
Yeah, no, we're doing... the closest I've got to that is Worst Place to Have a Kip.
Wow.
Oh, well, it's the same thing.
It's not the same thing. Well, go on, we'll judge if it's a bad place.
Biffa bin behind the back of a nightclub.
Yeah, that'll do.
It's a bad place.
I like a Biffa bin.
Yeah.
What happened, mate?
The cleaning cupboard of the Tuxedo Princess, which is a horrendous...
hang on, is it still going? Is it still... Yeah, shut up. Is it still going?
There's lots.
Right, in that case, they're excellent. They're excellent places, and I thoroughly recommend everyone goes. Carry on.
I want you to choose.
Just saving you a lawsuit.
I want. Oh God! Are the buildings going? No.
Is he drunk? What is going on with
I would like you to choose the worst.
Sorry?
Because there's been lots of bads.
Well,
okay.
Okay.
I'd like one of you guys to choose the worst.
Okay, right. Yeah, I'll let Kath do that because I haven't got a clue what's going on.
So, Biffa bin.
Yep.
Recapping here.
Yep.
Traffic Island in Camden.
Yep.
Fell asleep there, looked cosy.
Yeah.
The zebra crossings outside of a nightclub in Newcastle.
Zebra crossing? So a road?
Yes.
Zebra crossing?
It's very dangerous.
I'm a dick. I've got sleep apnea and I used to drink a lot.
Yeah.
And the cleaning cupboard of the Tuxedo Princess.
Boris Becker style. Catherine, which of those is the worst place to have a kip?
So I'm
road.
You know, I'll leave the floor to you guys.
Okay, thanks very much indeed. What's wrong with Cleo? Is he Is he dead? Is he calling us from the? Is he calling us from the spirit world?
Maybe when he slept in the road, he got off.
03444991000. This is Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
I had to leave you and go away, but I think about you every day. In the morning and in the afternoon, I wish that I could see you soon. And when I held you, I felt so fine. It was like there was nothing left on my mind. It was like Rockaway Beach in the month of June. I wish that I could see you soon. I had no plans to meet you, baby. I had a million things to do, baby, but you hit my heart for the harpoon. I wish that I could see you soon. The angels go,
how long till you can see her?
And I'm like, the sooner the better.
Do you really think she will wait for you?
Well, I have no way to say, and there's nothing I can do. Well, I have no way to say, and there's nothing I can do. Go. Now that I am across the sea, I wonder if you're gonna wait for me, or if you're gonna find a new boy to spoon. I wish that I could see you soon, and if you wait a little, my pretty friend, until I come back to hold your hand, we'll be like birds when they break through a cocoon. You know, I wish that I could see you soon. It's been a while since I felt like this, and now I found someone I really miss. Under the sun, under the moon, I wish that I could see you soon, angels.
How long till you can see her?
And I'm like, the sooner the better.
Do you really think she will wait for you?
And I'm like, there's no way to say, and there's nothing I can do. Well, there is no way to say, and there's nothing I can do. Go.
This is some song. I forgot about this. Herman June.
So you can see her.
And I'm like, well, the sooner the better.
Do you really think she will wait for you?
And I'm like, there's no way to say, and there's nothing I can do. Well, there is no way to say, and there's nothing I can do. Well, there is no way to say, and there's nothing I can do. No way to say, and there's nothing I can do.
I forgot about that. That's some song, man. That's Herman June. 0344 499 1000. Showbiz journalists and people who want to know what happened today. I'll let you know later. I promise that's going to come. In the meantime, this is the Late Night Alternative on Talk Radio with me, Iain Lee. Here she comes. She karate kicked her way into the door, and those doors,
full, isn't it?
Those doors are heavy, but they swing back quickly, right? I was reminded when I picked up my 6-year-old from school a couple of months ago, maybe before Christmas. No, it wasn't before Christmas because I was away. It was earlier this year. I was reminded of one of my favourite games I've not played for years, and my boy was playing it. The thing of when someone goes through a door in front of you and it swings shut, trying to get through it without touching it.
Yes.
Do you play that?
I play that every day after you because you never hold it open.
No,
for
I
me.
don't because I'm a feminazi. But my boy did it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm up for some of this. And it's the most exciting, most dangerous.
Don't play with that door; it's heavy. That hurts.
Well, that door, if you open it quickly, it swings back quickly. There's something wrong with imagine being the person that invented the hinge. Imagine being that guy. I'm assuming it's a guy. Sorry, girls. Maybe it was a lady. And going, oh, I've invented a hinge. I've invented something for doors. I've invented something. I don't know what it's for. It flaps open and shut. It flaps open, and then you can either have it sprung loaded so it flaps shut, or you can leave it and it stays there.
Now do a woman's voice.
Do you remember Hinge and Bracket?
Yes, I do.
I used to love them, but I don't remember. They were two posh old ladies, but they were
men.
men.
One played the piano.
And they lived in like a nursing home or something?
I don't know. I just remember the piano.
But what were they? Was it a sitcom?
They were like Fry and Laurie, but with wigs on.
Yeah, but that's a weird... I remember watching it when I was like 10 and thinking it was funny. That's a weird thing. What did they... Hang on a second. Let's go to the internet.
Weren't they kind of Noel Coward-ish, their songs?
They were like that.
Yeah. Ooh, play us another one, dear.
I took it up the wrong one.
I don't think they said... They might have. It would have gone over our heads in our tender youth, wouldn't it?
Dear Ladies was the sitcom. Here we go. Dear Ladies. Here we go. Let's have see if we get the theme tune. Here we go. This is Hinge and Bracket. All right. I want the theme tune for this.
Dear ladies, the fairest of all to see.
Starring Dame Hilda Brackett.
Dear ladies, you're simply my
and
cup
Dr.
of tea.
Evadne Hinge.
Your style full of grace, your ribbons and lace, your elegant flair dazzle my eyes. You're in a class beyond compare. Dear ladies,
By Patrick Fife and George Logan, so that must be them. I was like the blonde one.
Dear ladies, allow me to take your arm. You're clearly perfection in a piquant tea. For you're as dear as good, dear ladies, can be.
Dear ladies, who's
All right, we get the idea. Let's hear them talking now. This is, by the way, the rest of the show is...
Trevi approximating container for petit beurre.
Trevi fountain, yes. Container for petit beurre. Container for petit beurre. Biscuit tin, yes.
Yeah,
biscuit tin and a fountain. When is a biscuit tin like a fountain? When it's a square tin.
Hang on.
What?
What? When is a biscuit tin like a fountain? When it's a square tin?
What?
Oh, squirting.
Squirting.
I got it.
Okay.
Got it.
Coffee must be ready. Maud, so good to us, you know. I don't know what we'd do without her.
Come along, you know, as well as I do, dear. That woman is incompetent.
Oh, she's got over there. Thank you, Maud. Lovely, dear. Thank you. Saucer of coffee, dear.
Yes.
I'm really tempted to play out just the audio from Dear Ladies starring Hinge and Bracket. I shan't. There was one more thing. There was one more thing here. Hinge and Bracket on the 1989 Royal Variety performance.
Oh, Queen loved him, I bet.
Yeah, I bet she did. Hinge and Bracket, 1989 Royal Variety performance. This is something for the teenagers. Here we go.
Nice to be recognised immediately. Isn't it?
Of course, you may not have seen us for quite some time, so one or two of you might be wondering who we are.
That's right, yes. You know, I can imagine the Queen Mother now sitting at home, bless her, watching this and seeing me and saying, by Jove, hasn't Evelyn Leigh worn well?
And I can imagine Evelyn Leigh sitting at home watching this thinking, doesn't the Queen Mother look different without a hat?
That is posh comedy. That is posh comedy.
It's what I'd call smile humour.
Are they dead, or have we just killed them with the curse of the show, which killed Roger Bannister? Who else did we kill this week?
We killed the wind-up radio man.
We did Trevor Bayliss, didn't we? We killed Roger Bannister and Trevor Bayliss. The show is cursed, by the way, guys.
Hinge and Bracket. I mean, if they're not, then obviously it's not looking good for them now.
Yeah.
Let's see.
They've got to be dead. They've got to be dead.
They were
dead, and they're not now?
Fife, 2002.
Yeah.
Logan is...
Oh. Are you telling us that either Hinge or Bracket...
Oh, no. Dead.
Sorry, guys. I hate to break it to you, Hinge and Bracket will not be appearing on this show. That's a shame. It's a shame. I do remember loving that as a kid, and something quite strangely... it's quite sexy, the blonde one. The dark-haired one reminded me of Maureen Lipman.
Well... She may still be alive. Patrick Fife, died.
Right.
Dr. Evadne sang to be at the funeral. 95 years old. Dr. Evadny was worried she wouldn't be able to do the song justice.
Right, OK. Well, I think you're buying into the fiction of the universe of Hinge and Bracket.
95 in 2015.
Yeah.
97 now.
Yeah, right. Well, hang on. Bracket was 95. What about the gentleman that played him? I suspect they were significantly younger than the ages of the two old women that they played. I would shave off 25 years.
Well, one's definitely dead.
Okay. Let's stop reminding their family. Their family might be listening for a little bit of light entertainment, and you just keep going. Yeah, they're dead. Dead. That one's dead. People said we'd run out of steam, that this show would run out of ideas. Come on, guys. The Hinge and Bracket revival starts here.
I think one might still be alive.
Hey, let's get them on. Or is this going to be one of those things I regret the next day? Let's talk about it tomorrow. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. Good evening, Sarah.
Hi, Ian. Hi, Cara.
Hello.
Hello. Are you all right, Ian?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. I'm excited because I've forgotten all about Hinge and Bracket.
She said that with a sympathetic head bob.
Yeah.
You're all right, Ian.
I'm on top of the world. I'm going to hingeandbracketofficial.co.uk to get the
I've never heard of them.
Yeah, well, you kids...
Logan's still alive.
Well, I'm 32. I should have heard of them, surely.
Well, I don't... Hinge and... Oh, there's only one T.
Was it a man and a woman? Because it sounded like two women.
Yeah, right.
They were both excellent female impersonators, and I have had a tweet from Gary, who should know, because he says, I published Dame Evadny Hinge's autobiography, The Naked Doctor. And I can tell you that George Logan is still alive as Dr. Hinge. So.
Oh, he was a doctor. So
can we get... I don't want... Who plays Dr. Hinge?
George Logan.
I don't want George Logan on the show. I want Dr. Hinge on the show.
Well, I wonder.
I wonder if we can get Dr. Hinge on the show.
She'll be in a home for retired artistes.
Yeah, I want Dr. Hinge on this show. That's
well, I hope you get them, because they sound awfully
nice.
We'll only get one.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get one of them at best.
Awesome.
But I'm sure Ian could fill in as the other, with his excellent voice he did earlier.
I don't know. Anyway,
dear.
Sarah, what you got for us?
No, I had to ring in to unwind because my mum and dad had been over.
Oh.
Which is fine, but they made me watch this awful TV programme about couples who...
Oh! Don't
stop! Because we loved it.
Stop. Right, for those who don't know, it's called I Want to Have It Off with Someone Else.
No, the 7-year switch.
7-year switch. So it's couples that have obviously fallen out of love with each other. One of the men is probably gay. We won't say who for legal reasons.
I think a few of them were.
And so they then go off to Thailand and they go and live with... They swap wives, but it's not like a sexual thing, but I bet there's a little bit of rumpy-pumpy going on.
I bet there is. And it was awful, because there was this one guy, and he was so manipulative. And honest to God, I've never sworn so much at a TV or in my house, ever.
Well, this is the terrible thing, because it's a sad thing for all of the couples, right? But Ian and I were sitting there going, well, I mean, they should just finish. I mean, they've already broken up.
Yeah.
What's the point in this?
One where the fella had moved out, was living with his mum, and the woman was looking after the two kids.
Yeah.
And just before they're about to get married, he said, I don't think I love you. Guys, that one's done.
And they only had, like, one bed in the houses that they moved into, the other couple.
Yeah.
And he was the one, he was a cheeky git. He was the one saying, I'm worried about her being in the bed with another man. They weren't married. And he said he wasn't sure if he loved her. So what if she was?
If you're not the one, then why does my heart beat?
You're right.
Like...
He's a cheeky git, and he's doing the thing that some people do, which is trying to keep their options open.
Oh, he was just manipulative. He was a bully. And... I've never watched a programme it's made me feel that angry.
But that programme is not going to make anyone look good, is it?
No, it wouldn't make any couple look good at all.
And I felt sorry for all of them because they all had little kids.
Yeah, I know. And it's the kids. If they split up, the kids will see that in the future and go, what on earth were you doing?
I know.
It's just wrong. It's wrong. But my mum wanted to watch it. So.
Terrible. But we will be catching up tomorrow, won't we, Ian? With the bit we missed.
Yes! We're going to watch it tomorrow. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, no, you couldn't watch it all, could you?
No, mate, because you shouldn't have been able to watch it all either, because we started at 10 o'clock.
I know, I'm sorry, I apologise. You know, I'm normally very on the ball with this.
I know, but you've dropped the ball. The ball has been dropped.
Okay.
Anyway, how are your mum and dad?
They're swingers. Did it give them some ideas? Did they leave early? And your mum was Googling dogging sites. Ooh,
so brief.
No,
my mum and dad are brilliant. I love them to bits. I'm very lucky.
Imagine like, I know what, I love you so much, right? We're going to park in a car park and we're going to wind down the window and turn the hazards on and you're going to get your boobs out. When does that become sexy? Imagine they're like dirty old men are going to put their winkies in the cars and I'd wind the windows up quick.
Depends how big the winky was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it with the old-fashioned cars, could you? Anyway, such fun. Someone will be doing that tonight, even though it's freezing.
Here we go. Here's something, and only people over 40 can call in with this, right?
Oh.
No, I tell you. Well, maybe. How old are you? You're 33.
I'm 32.
32. All right, I don't think it'll work for you, right?
Okay.
The first time you used an electric window, I remember. Yes. I remember it. It was in the back of my headmaster's car. I was probably 11, maybe 10.
Why were you in the back of your headmaster's car?
Well, if you listen, I will tell you.
Okay, sorry.
He was driving me as the captain. It would have been 11, because it was the second time. He was driving me as the captain of the road safety team to Slough Town Hall, where we were about to get thrashed by another school. But we came second, right? And I sat in his car. I think he must have had his secretary, Mrs. Savage, who was really, really saucy. And I sat there, and I looked round, and there was like a switch. There was nothing there's a switch. And I looked at this, and I thought, whoa, this is electric windows. I'm in a future car. I've never even seen one. I am in a future car, and I'm looking at it. It's like Ardal O'Hanlon in Father Ted with that red button that says "Do not press" when he's on the airplane. And I'm looking at it. I'm thinking,
comes out of sight. That's the funny stuff.
And I'm thinking, and so I flicked it down, and it went, and the window came down a bit, and I shit myself, and I panicked, and I thought, oh God, and there was like a tiny little crack of window open, and I didn't know what to do, and so I just sat there, and then we got out. So the first time you ever used an electric window in a car, 0344 499 1000. Call me now. That's a good phone in. You've grown up with. Here we go. This is how old I am. My mum's first car, a Mini, right, that she had. It didn't have electric windows. It didn't have wind down windows. It had windows. It had windows you slid across. It had a little clip. You had to unclip it and slide it across.
My dad had a Datsun, right?
Yeah.
And it had little windows
Datsun
at the
Cherry?
back. I don't think it was a Cherry. It got ruined by my sister because he let us play in the car and she went underneath the dashboard and all the wires were there. She pulled all the wires out.
Of course they were.
But in the back, it was kind of a sort of sporty type. It was a long, thin car, the Datsun.
Yeah.
And the back windows were kind of almost triangular, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But it didn't slide across. It didn't wind down. It was on a kind of...
pivot.
Yeah, it sort of popped out.
Yeah. You had to pivot out.
I remember the first convertible I ever went in.
What's that?
That was my brother's Saab 95.
No, what's a convertible?
Convertibles, the top down.
Blimey, listen to her.
They're not as cool as you think, are they? Because your hair ends up a right old tangled mess.
Listen to Angela Lansbury, and not Angela Lansbury. There's the old woman in the wheelchair, married loads of times. Richard Burton. Listen to Liz Taylor telling us her stories of Santa Monica Boulevard. Listen to her. Listen to her.
This was in Kent, not Santa Monica.
This is in Kent now.
Listen to her with her pearls. Wearing pearls and drinking champagne. Have we done the 15 ads? Right, we're waiting for the ads. Bye. Let's do that now. Go.
Experience the unconventional.
Hello.
The unpredictable.
Don't you think that's a bit weird?
And the completely unorthodox.
It was my birthday.
With rule-free Iain Lee.
I was just trying to generate a bit of content.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
Hate alarm clock. Hate going to work.
On Talk Radio.
Hang on a second. Have we got Dr. Evadne Hinge coming on the show?
I've got I've got her email address.
Wow.
So...
That's incredible. Right, fine. Let's get Dr.
try.
Evadne Hinge on the show.
I wonder if I drop Gary's name, whether that would be helpful.
Oh, Gary just sounds like a star effer.
So?
Well,
what's wrong with that?
Some people don't like to be reminded. Don't worry, I know. I'm really sorry. Showbiz journalists and 15-year-olds that write for the Huffington Post. I'm going to give you the story. I promise you'll get the story about what happened today. But I've just got to do a bit of show. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you'd like to give us a call. Oh, I nearly did it. Do you know where that voice was going? Give us your bloody money. 0344. I shouldn't have stopped it. It was going towards Bob Geldof.
No.
May not sound, didn't sound like it, but I could feel the shape of Geldof's mouth in mine. Oh no! I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I'm Victor Melder. I actually don't believe it. I've never seen that programme, and I'm still doing a spot-on impersonation.
I was going to say, you can tell.
I don't
No.
Is our dump working?
No, don't.
Okay. No?
No more sweary rants.
No. I don't. Did we get that? Okay. Apologies, Periscopers. That was inappropriate. That was inappropriate humour. It was foul-mouthed humour. But I wonder. I was at a party the other day, and I wondered what it. And I could see a joint being passed around, and I wondered what it would be.
By
like.
the way, the Mirror, he wasn't. It's a fictional party.
I was. It was a party I hallucinated whilst on heroin, and I wondered what Scooby Doo would sound like if he was stoned, and I think it would be something like this. Thank you very much. And I also wondered what Al Pacino would sound like if he was stoned, and it would sound like this. Hoo-ha! And then I wondered, none of these people, for legal reasons, do drugs. Scooby-Doo...
Shaggy, for sure.
Well, Shaggy, of course...
Like school.
And I wondered what James Bond would sound like if he had the munchies. Packet of cheesy quavers, please.
You idiot.
And some Rizla. And I'm Roger Moore, and I'd like some... I'm not Roger Moore, I'm just a man.
It's fine, Roger Moore's dead.
I'd like some Rizla and some cigarettes. I know... thank you. That's my new act I'm working on. Speaking of which, let's go to Jonathan. Good evening, Jonathan.
Evening, Ian.
How you doing, man? You all right?
I'm okay.
Good.
I want to talk about the poisoning.
Of
this Russian defector.
Oh, okay. Well, no, hang on a minute. No, we can speculate, can't we? We can speculate. No charges have been made.
No, but it would be pure speculation.
All right. Well, yeah, we're not. Well, I was about to say we're not suggesting that Jonathan's gotten in with Russia. Actually, if anyone has, this fella has. Yeah. There's speculation, of course it is, but here's okay. Go on, tell us what you think.
The Russians didn't do it.
I was thinking that. It seems too obvious. Go on.
Yeah, it was someone who, in this country, who wanted to use him as a martyr to create a public backlash against Putin.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of thought that because here's the thing, right? The Russians murdered Litvinenko. Okay, we know that. We know that, right? And the guy that they suspect that did it is now like a really famous... He's like the Jeremy Kyle of Russia. Not saying Jeremy Kyle murdered Litvinenko, but he's a big TV star in Russia, right? He's like a chat show host.
I heard that he was an elected MP.
Was he? And the thing is, right, there's absolutely nothing that we could do about it. It's Russia! Of course it's Russia. And Russia will go, well, no, you show us the evidence. And then you show them the evidence. They go, yeah, we don't believe that. You just can't win it, right? I did think, and maybe this is where I am falling down the Russia Today, the John Gaunt taking money just to say any old crap and sell out your country kind of line, is that maybe it is done by someone British who wants to create problems between Britain and Russia. And that's my stomach.
Mine.
Is it? No, it's mine. I felt it.
It was mine.
I felt that was mine.
Mine went as well.
Shut
then.
up, that was mine.
Mine went.
We're in sync, like girl flatmates at our first year at uni.
That happened. That is the thing.
No, it's not. It's a myth.
Well, it happened.
No.
Yes.
No, it's a myth.
Don't deny my truth.
No. Let me explain something. It's a myth.
No.
Women's cycles.
It happened.
It's a myth.
It happened.
No, you were in sync already.
What?
Oh. So did you compare periods from before you went in? And, like, one of you was, like, on the 13th, one was, like, on the 20th, and one was on the 30th. Did you compare those dates before you went in? We'd say there, Jonathan, I think we're being tapped. Did you compare the data before and the data after? Or did you just all go...
What kind of crazy parties do you think we were having?
Or did you just all go, oh, hey, you're coming out of the bathroom, I can say it, without any embarrassment whatsoever, with Tampax, and you're coming out with pads because of toxic shock syndrome. I too am on my I'm too am having a difficult period right now.
Can you get out of... I don't like you being
No,
in this scenario.
I know you don't, but I'm a feminazi.
You've got no right. This is your time to listen.
Exactly. Me too. Hashtag me too.
No, not you.
Hashtag time's up, with or without the apostrophe. All right, guys? She had it burnt on her arm, with or without the apostrophe.
Spoiler alert, it wasn't a real tattoo.
Oh.
But carry on.
Spoiler alert, it wasn't really Hermione from Thing, it was something else. She's an actor. So here's the thing. I don't believe you. I don't believe
care.
you. Okay, fine.
I'm not doing it to impress you.
All right, show me the stats, and then we can talk about it. Until then, Jonathan, sorry, you were talking about periods. Go on. No.
All I can add to that is if I'm found dead and they say it's a suicide, it wasn't a suicide. I was killed by the government.
Right, hang on a second, though. Or you could have been killed by me or one of my many listeners. Or maybe you're going to kill yourself tonight to frame the government in the same way that you think someone is framing Russia. Oh, Jonathan! Yeah. Well, sorry, what?
That'd be a bit stupid.
You hate the government so much, you're prepared to be another martyr because you've come on this national radio station knowing that the showbiz journalists and Huffington Post are listening, and you've laid down the gauntlet, and you're going to take your own life so that it looks like Boris Johnson ordered a hit on you. I got you sus, Jonathan.
I don't think Boris Johnson knows what end of the gun the cartridge goes in.
Well, that's true. By the way, it's not cartridges. You're thinking of a VCR. They're actually bullets. Thanks very much indeed. Not VCR, VCS. VCS, the Atari is what I meant to say. Atari VCS. They're cartridges.
Yeah, okay, go on, carry on.
Sorry?
Good story.
I just like accuracy. You know me, I like accuracy.
Always.
You're saying I'm a pedant, are you? I'm not a pedant. I'm just right. Just right. Yeah, we were at the concert earlier. We've done that bit. Ricardo.
Oh, wait a sec. Wait.
Well, no, you wait.
You wait.
No,
buddy.
you wait.
You wait, buddy.
You'll be waiting.
You'll be waiting.
You wait.
Mate, you wait.
You'll be waiting at the end of my fist.
Oh.
In his face. In his face.
Specifics.
Oh, here we go. How are you two doing?
Very, very, very well indeed. Thank you. Because I tell you why. Because I'm
very upbeat tonight.
Good show. People said we run out of shtick. Well, we just found a box full of shtick in the back of my car. I tell you why I'm in a good mood.
Michael Stick won Wimbledon, I think.
Apparently so. Here's why. Here's the thing about here's the thing about Sir Bradley Wiggins, right? And this is what I think about Sir Bradley Wiggins, right? Forget the doping Put that to one side, right? I'll tell you why he should have
No, really? Was he got done for doping?
Well, he says it's a smear. He denies it. Other people say that he crossed the ethical line, not the. Anyway, here's what I've been thinking. Right?
Well, he's not.
This is why his knighthood should be stripped from him. Have you seen his hair in that BBC interview? What the hell is going on there? He's betrayed his mod roots, literally, and he's become some kind of hipster. Now take that knighthood away and award it to the first mod to win the Tour de France, Ronnie Wood. Make it Sir Ronnie Wood, the first mod to win the Tour of France. He won it. He won it in 1966. Admittedly, it was on the back of a Vespa.
He's on the back. Yeah, well, he was getting on the back of one of those cool Citroens. You remember back in the day, but.
Where's this tangent, Ricardo? What have you called him for, man?
What do you want?
What is your why?
What do you want from us?
Why are you both having a go at me? Catherine was always really nice.
Well, maybe the worm has turned.
As it, can you see from there?
That's what she said. Yeah. But anyway, but no, the blonde woman from Hinge and Bracket. Do you remember her?
Yeah. It was Hinge. Yeah, and I just watched like 5 minutes of it.
Seriously, the blonde one though, it was like, oh, come on, man.
She was fit. I said this. She was.
Yeah, but like that's scary.
Why?
Huh?
Are you telling me? Right, let's be honest now. Mano a mano, okay? This is a show.
That means hand to hand, by the way.
You're telling me that you've never found a female impersonator sexually attractive. Not saying you've done anything. Not saying you've done anything. I was just saying, but you've never looked at a female impersonator and thought, "Cool, blimey, wow."
I was like, well, to be honest, when I first got told many years ago that the blonde woman from Hinge and Bracket was a geezer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a little bit scary, isn't it?
It's not. It's sexually liberating.
Embrace your fluidity.
Are you to come on? Honestly, Ricardo, you've never found. You've never found a female impersonator, a transvestite. I don't know what the correct term is these days.
Drag queen.
A drag queen. There we go. Drag queen. Yeah, that's good. You've never found RuPaul sexy.
Oh, I think he's a very attractive young man. But
come on. I'm going to say I found RuPaul sexy. I'm not going to have sex with her. But RuPaul is sexy. And I've watched... Here's the thing. I genuinely thought... Because I saw the posters, and the poster for RuPaul's Drag Race, it was them with crash helmets. I genuinely thought...
Checkered flags, didn't
I genuinely thought it was drag queens driving across America. But I've seen a couple of episodes, right? And some of them were awful. Some of them were... Oh, come... It doesn't mean anything, right? Some of them were as sexy as hell. Really sexy.
Really?
Yes. Oh, God. The showbiz crew are listening tonight. That's me screwed in. That's me screwed in the papers tomorrow.
Not at all. 2018 is the year of embracing the fact that
we're
all on a spectrum of sexuality.
On the backside, Ian,
is
this
what?
whole you wanting to get more famous, but at the same time...
No. Hang on a second. No, hang on. I've never said I wanted to get more famous.
No, not more.
Well,
okay, let me rephrase that.
Go on then.
But back into the public spotlight.
No, again, no, not what? No. Yep.
Oh, hey, look, I'm not someone that...
Shall I tell you what you're trying to say? What I wanted to do was to get more listeners to this show, and by going on a show that had 12 million viewers, I'm aware it was slightly shaking hands with the devil, but it meant I could say to 12 million people, some of whom had forgotten me, some of whom had never heard of me, I do a radio show. So that was it was never to become more famous. It was never to get back in the spotlight.
Sorry.
No. I've just been really precise because I know people are listening. It was never to get back in the spotlight. I never really enjoyed my brief time in the spotlight.
Yeah, you
before.
didn't. Yeah.
No, I didn't particularly like it. But so it was just to tell people I've got a radio show, and it worked, and that worked, and that's great. But you're telling me you've never found RuPaul sexy?
Well, I like that one, the blonde one from Hinge and Bracket.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Ricardo. Ricardo, I think, is in denial there. RuPaul is hot. Reporter's hot.
No denying it.
The I can't remember the name of the young gentleman stroke young lady that was in Big Brother.
Courtney Act.
Courtney Act. There were times, not all the time, but there were times when Courtney Act was hot.
Oh, I thought she was amazing.
Yeah, I didn't always think she was particularly sexy. I'm not particularly a fan of blondes, if I must say. But yeah, there were some times when she was hot. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. We'll go through the list of topics in a minute. We'll take some adverts, and then after that we'll speak to John. This is Talk Radio.
It's electric, it's eclectic, it's always rule-free. It's the late-night alternative with that man, Iain Lee. On Talk Radio.
You can listen to Talk Radio on DAB, download the app, or go to talkradio.co.uk. Don't forget, we don't switch off at night time. We used to, about 3 or 4 months ago. The station would switch over to Talk Sport. But at 1 o'clock, between 1 and 5, Paul Roths comes in and does his ting. And then at 5 o'clock, it's James Max. So, and then at 6:30, between 6:30 and 10, we do switch off. And then at 10, we fire up the transmitters again, and Mike Graham comes on. So it's a busy old time. 0344 499 1000. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Ian.
Good evening.
I was wanting to say good evening to the dynamic duo, but I can see the cat isn't there at the minute.
She has buggered off, mate.
Yeah, that's fine.
She is buggered off.
Right, well, I've got three points tonight.
Go on, mate.
And the first one is the conveyor belt one.
Oh, wow! Yeah, this is... Oh, well done, yeah. Famous conveyor belts.
Yeah, well, you probably haven't seen this one, but there's one on Emmerdale.
There's a conveyor belt on Emmerdale?
Yeah, it's in a chocolate factory, or a sweetie factory, but it's really just a bench.
Right.
And I think they just shove things along. You never see it moving, you know.
There's a chocolate factory in Emmerdale Farm now?
Aye, chocolate or sweetie, aye.
But it's not... And this is... Cassie, John's on the line. John's telling me that the famous conveyor belts... He says there's a sweetie factory in Emmerdale Farm, but there's a conveyor belt, but it's not really a conveyor belt. They just push things along. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I remember the first time I worked out how conveyor belts in shops work.
Oh, I had to explain that to my daughter.
Yeah, I forgot.
There's a pedal, isn't there?
Whoa! Quick, John, phone up social services. Catherine is spreading fake news.
I'm lost.
Right. No.
Yeah.
There's not a pedal.
Button.
No, there's not. I'll tell you how conveyor... Right. So how come it stops when the food gets to where the cashier is?
It's that little barrier thing what you put on, isn't it?
It's what, mate?
That little metal plastic piece what you put on, isn't it?
Is everyone an idiot tonight? What has happened? Have they made it you compulsory to be stupid? Is this really right? I am right. And I don't want you to Google it. I don't want anyone to tweet Kath or tell her anything like that. Right? Can someone phone up and tell Catherine and John, who I'm going to cut off in a minute? We'll let him do his other things, but I will cut him off because he's embarrassed himself. Can someone phone up and tell these absolute numpties how... Well, I worked it out when I was about 10.
I don't think you did, mate.
And you are 45.
I am not.
I'm being generous. Can someone phone up and tell Catherine how a conveyor belt is? Has Gavin phoned in for that? No, he's not. Okay.
You're going to be. We were talking in the break about eating Frey Bentos.
Yeah.
You're going to be eating humble pie.
Yeah,
when you realise that there is a pedal.
You're going to be eating a dick sandwich. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean it like that. John, what would you like to say, you absolute pudding?
Well, I was on about that little plastic thing what you put on, and it, when that rolls along in front of you, that stops it, doesn't it?
So it's the plastic thing that stops it, is it?
The next customer, please.
You think there's microchips in there or something? You absolute bell.
No, well, it could be like one of them... what is it, like a laser thing, isn't it?
Right, I'm going to tell you it's done, right? At the end of the conveyor belt, right, so the person is sat behind the counter, right? And to the left is the conveyor belt. Right at the end of because all the food comes and it stops when it gets there. When she picks it up, it moves. Picks it up, it moves. Because if you look, you know this, Sam, right? You don't know this. What is wrong with you people?
By the way, this is incorrect data.
No. You look. Everybody, this is your homework tomorrow.
I think I've had a go.
How long ago? Like the 80s. We're talking. This is how it works, right? At the end of the conveyor belt, next to the cashier, there are two, on either side of the conveyor belt. There are two little black circles, right? It's a very simple light sensor. When there is something blocking the connection between the two, it stops. You lift it up, it moves along. So, right, why? Okay, if it's a pedal, why has there never been a pile up with someone getting confused and all the food piles up? Why is the belt moving when there's nothing there?
Well, why did you mention the light sensor?
Why have you got a black eye, John? I tell you why. It's because I've driven to Tyneside and I've punched you in the eye. Honestly, it's an infrared beam right at the end, and you, what is that face? You have been destroyed.
I haven't.
You have.
I do not submit.
You've been destroyed. Do they make surely well?
Anyway, John, what did you call in for, mate?
Right, well, it was a conveyor belt and the sleeping place.
Yes. Yeah.
Odd sleeping places.
Yeah, worst place you had a kip. Go on.
You know these metal bridges what go across a dual carriageway?
Oh, John! Yes, buddy, go on!
Right, well, you know they have, like, metal steps up, but they have, like, bigger ramps for taking pushchairs up and stuff.
Yes. Oh, well, the ramps that kind of go round in like a spiral?
No, it's... The bridge is, like, just diagonal.
OK, yeah.
Just a ramp, mate. Why are you getting extravagant?
All right, fine.
There's footsteps, like footsteps up one side, but like another ramp for taking pushchairs and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So where the ramp is, there was it was three of us when we were kids.
Yeah.
We slept under the very lowest one of them, and it was only about 12 inches to get underneath.
Right. So what? How old were you?
Probably about 10 or 11.
So as 10-year-olds, you crawled under a 12-inch gap and had a kip under a bridge.
Aye, but...
The old days, eh?
Like a troll.
But the bridge was next to somebody's house.
Oh, dear.
And we were just having laughs, like, with my kids. And I think probably the metalwork on the bridge might have resonated a bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I think they must have phoned the police. So they came and got us about 3 o'clock in the morning. But I think we could have refused to come out because they would never have got in.
Heck, man. And I'm assuming this was like when Hitler was bombing England. This was like during the war?
No, a bit later. It was in the 60s. Yeah.
Okay, John. And I bet you had the best night's sleep you've ever had.
Well, we got woke up by the police at 3 o'clock.
Those coppers. Anything else, John?
Yeah, I will say one other thing.
Yeah.
I've been watching on one of the mediums tonight.
The mediums?
And you've got a VIP listening.
Oh, who's listening?
I'm not telling you. I did send him a message to see if I could mention him, but he didn't reply.
Wait, hang on, what mediums? He's on Periscope?
I'm not going to say that, no.
Oh,
but, like you were a little bit defensive earlier the night, thinking it'd be like other people listening in, but he's one of your supporters, I'll promise you that.
Oh, so it's not Matthew. OK, right, fine.
He might ring you.
Does it rhyme with Ince Pals?
No.
Ince Pals?
Prince Charles.
Oh. Just be warned, John, it might be a fake. There are some fake people.
No, well, he is. I've checked him out on Twitter.
Oh.
And it's him.
OK, gosh, that's exciting.
And it's from one of your recent... I can't remember the name of them now, like, you know.
What are you talking about, man?
Huh? What's the name of that? The programmes you do on the weekend, you know? Offline things.
The Rabbit Hole. Thomas Walsh.
One of them things, aye.
Is it Thomas Walsh?
One of them things.
He's not VIP.
It's just Thomas.
Is he not
he's
VIP?
He's not VIP. He's VIP.
Hey, you are special, you.
He's good.
You just do it. You get it out of people, don't you?
Yeah, I'm the human lie detector. John, I'm going to cut you off now.
That's fine.
I cannot believe you didn't know how those conveyor belts worked.
I still don't.
No, you do, mate. It's a light sensor. It's a really simple little bit of kit to rig up. You go to any supermarket, right? And it's great fun to do. When the conveyor belt's going, just put your hand at the end of it. You see the little dot. Put your hand and block one of the dots.
I'll get thrown out for that.
Hey, please,
that caper.
Just say, excuse me, can I touch your black dot? And you point, and you just touch it and it will stop. And you can do it. Stop. Right.
Never ask a pirate to see the black spot. Do you know about this one?
Yeah, because I've seen the pirate show at Legoland 48 times. Let us go.
Is that why you keep trying to draw on me?
Let's go to Gavin. Good evening, Gavin.
Hey, good evening again, man. How you doing?
I'm very, very well, mate. What you got for it? How about you? You know this about the conveyor belts, don't you? It's a light sensor.
I'm kind of, honestly, I was really thinking, I think in the late 80s, early 90s, it was Cass pedal situation.
No, it wasn't.
Yes,
honestly,
it was.
Mate, it was. Yeah, it definitely was.
Well, it wasn't, because I worked it out I worked it out when I was 9, and I was 9 in 1982 and 1983.
Well, my brother used to work at a checkout.
Right. Well, in some places up north, it might have been,
mechanism.
but it hasn't been.
I think technology has moved on, man. But
considerably.
Yeah, well, one would hope so. Anyway, I've got a famous conveyor belt for you.
Here we go. This is it. This is what it's all about. Who'd have thought that the biggest argument of the night would be about conveyor belts?
Yeah,
really?
Who would have thought it, man?
Yeah. Go on, what you got, Gavin?
Bertha.
Oh, Gavin.
Gavin, that was like the second one we said, you prune. And
mate, I've been...
That means...
I went and had a kebab, man. I can think of another one.
Go on, then. I bet you can't.
Yeah, I bet I can't neither. All right. Oh, man. Come on, there must be... Come on, right, the Generation Game.
Right, that was the first... That was how it started. I tell you why that started.
Gladiator.
Right.
Gavin, stop embarrassing yourself,
mate.
That was
the third one.
All right, Scooby-Doo. Gotcha.
Where's the track? Where's the...
In the opening titles of Scooby-Doo, the original series, the original animated series, when the caretaker is running along, his costume falls off because Scooby catches him and Shaggy on a conveyor belt. Oh, man.
Right, okay, fine. You say that. Right, Scooby-Doo, here we go. Let's go to the original. Here we go. Let's have a little look, shall we?
All his little feet are going like that cartoon noise.
All right, buddy, calm down. Let's go to the opening title.
I'm amazed I pulled that out of them.
Well, I'll be amazed. Here we go. We're watching it.
Where are you? We got some work to do now.
Yeah.
They're walking.
Yeah. And your man's little legs start going, all his costume falls off.
There's Fred falling back. There's a ghost, they're running. All right, I'm going to stop because I think I know what happens. Doesn't Scooby... And I've not seen this for a while. Scooby stands on the costume. It's not on a conveyor belt.
Oh,
it's that, they do that thing.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Shall we see, boys and girls?
They're running in midair. They do that thing. Do you want me to carry on, Gavin, or shall I just cut you off?
I'll go.
Thanks very much. That was pathetic.
That's a lesson I know not to do it, guys.
Thomas, stay there. I'll come to you in a minute. I'll do Thomas now, and I'll do the story about the Generation Game in a bit. Good evening, Thomas.
I'm absolutely mortified. How are you, Catherine?
Oh!
It's the VIP.
I didn't know it was you, mate.
The thing is, I was sitting listening to the guy saying, you've got a guy online, and he's a great accent, by the way. You have that accent, you have my accent, you have the previous guy's accent. Yeah. There's a lot of accents going on.
It's the home of the accent here. God, if I'd known it was you on the line, I'd have got rid of those other chances and put you straight on.
But I'll tell you what it is.
Yes.
You seem to be having a really good time tonight.
Yeah, we're having a great time tonight. Are you going to bring us down?
I was going to ring up. Oh, yeah, I was going to ring up with that gobshite this morning.
Hey, listen, don't worry about it. I got your text, and it's very, very kind of you. But don't, because I tell you why, because they're all listening to us tonight, Thomas, and I don't want to give them the satisfaction. Okay. I don't want to give them the satisfaction. But you know, I'll text you. I'll text you tomorrow, and I'll. Yeah.
It's okay.
But thank you for your text.
It
was very sweet.
Is, don't be silly. It's just. Sorry, I won't. That's the thing. But while I was sitting waiting, listening to that chap, I actually thought of a conveyor belt.
Oh, yeah. This is it, you see. I love it. Go on.
Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah, where? What's the conveyor belt?
Mother Nature's son, when they bottle the Peckham Spring, Del Boy has a conveyor belt of the bottles and they're all walking in the flat.
Yeah, I do remember that, I think. Because you flipping love Only Fools and Horses. I never really got it.
Oh, jeez. Me and Matt. This is me throwing in a VIP, Catherine. Yeah. Am I allowed to throw in a VIP?
Of course.
We love a good name drop on this show. Our lives are so dull that anybody that can drop a name. Is it pre-recorded? We're going to be very, very late for the news. You go on.
Well, myself and Matt Berry have been known just to text each other quotes for weeks.
Yeah. Wow.
Weeks. Normally Grandpa. Normally the early Grandpa.
Yeah, I preferred the early Grandpa. When Uncle Albert I found a little bit too silly, but early Grandpa was spot on, doddery old man without overplaying it.
Oh, he was brilliant. But the thing is, I'm glad you're having a good time because you sound like you're having a great buzz. And we all love you, and I just wanted to say that, so I'm glad we don't talk about other things.
No, we don't. We're not. We're going to have a laugh tonight. Thank you, Thomas. You're a good man with a good soul, and it's nice to talk to you, brother.
Don't be silly. It's great to see you on there, and keep doing your stuff. And thanks, Catherine. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, will.
Ta-ta. Thank you, Thomas Walsh, ladies and gentlemen. One of the finest songwriters around. Is in the first Rabbit Hole with him has gone up.
Yes.
The Rabbit Hole podcast that me and Catherine do, and Thomas Walsh is a guest for 3 or 4 of them, I'm guessing, because he was with us in Dublin, and it was good, that wasn't it, Dublin?
So much fun.
And Belfast, but I mean, great.
But we
night.
made a stupid error in going just for the one weekend and trying to get Dublin and Belfast done in one weekend.
We bowled it up, guys. There's just no other way of saying it, guys. We bowled it up. Right, last hour of the show, 0344 499 1000. I promise everyone from Huffington and all of that, I will tell you what happened later on today. You're going to get that. We'll do the conveyor belt story. We'll go through the papers. You're welcome to call in. This is the Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee and Catherine Boyle, only here on Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Some people seem so obsessed with the morning, get up early just to watch the sunrise. Some people like it more when there's fire in the sky, worship the sun when it's high. Some people go for those sultry evenings, sipping cocktails in the blue, red and grey. But I like every minute of the day. I like every second, so long as you are on my mind. Every moment has its special charm. It's alright when you're around, rain or shine. I know a crowd who only live after midnight. Their faces always seem so pale. And then there's friends of mine who must have sunlight. They say a suntan never fails. I know a man who works the night shift, feels lucky to get a job in some pay. And I like every minute of the day. I dig every second. I can laugh in the snow and rain. I get a buzz from being cold and wet. The pleasure seems to balance out the pain. And so you see that I'm completely crazy. I even shun the south of France. The people on the hill, they say I'm lazy, but when they sleep I sing and dance. Some people have to have the sultry evenings, cocktails in the blue, red and grey. But I like every minute of the day.
There we go.
I
Who. That's The Who. I love it when Pete Townsend sings like a girl. He does it quite a bit in Tommy. I love it. He's got such a sweet voice. Pete Townsend on ukulele, John Entwistle, the bass player, doing the brass.
Was
on the French horn, yeah. He was doing it on the French horn.
Hey, my mum used to play the French horn.
Yeah, it's a great instrument, the French horn.
Really,
You don't
really tricky.
it's tricky. You don't see the French horn much these days, unless you go to Royal Albert. Oh, to the orchestras. But I like a bit of French horn. I love that song. The Who by Numbers, right? It's this weird album where Pete Townsend didn't want to write songs for The Who anymore, and everyone was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, like Zeppelin and all this getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and he just went, I can't do it, and he went really small. I love it. It's such a sweet little album. 0344. Oh, no. Everyone going, and yes, that's it. So. It's quite a boring story about the. Here it is. It is. I've sold it well, haven't I? Actually, it's quite a boring story. What way to start an hour? Last hour of the show when people are going, why do we stick around for the rest of the show? Maybe we go to bed. Oh no, he just said the first thing he's going to say is quite boring. I think we'll switch off.
That's exactly what we want you to do.
Because now I'm going to tell you what actually happened this morning. I'd do it before the end of the show. Generation Game almost didn't have a conveyor belt.
Oh.
Cuddly toys, microwaves and toasters moving along a conveyor belt were a much-loved part of the Generation Game. Now, their belt wasn't operated by light sensors, I suspect.
Handle.
I tell you, do you remember what they used to do? And they used to do it on the Generation Game, but they do it on a lot of shows, right? They wanted to display something, like some... pottery, china. What do you call it? Knickknacks. What's the word I'm looking
Trinkets.
for? No, I was looking for a word.
Ornaments.
Yeah, that's not it, but that'll do. If they don't display an ornament.
Figurines.
They wanted to display some figurines. You could win these figurines. They used to put it on a record player. Do you remember?
Yes.
The record player was like covered. But it was on a record.
Definitely a turntable.
Because you could see the little knobbly bit sticking out in the middle. It was on a record player. Do you remember?
Swish.
The old days were absolutely
Yeah, because you
crap.
had to see all the way round.
Yeah, put it on a record player. Cuddly toys, microwaves and toasters moving along a conveyor belt were a much-loved part of the Generation Game.
Just to flag up how old I am,
Yeah.
I remember thinking people who had toasters were posh. I used to use a grill pan.
Oh, here's the thing. I still think toasters are an unnecessary luxury.
Yeah.
I still think having a toaster is... that's...
I think it's one of those things my sister asked my dad when we could have one, and he said, when we're rich. So when we got one, she thought we'd made it.
I do miss those all-in-one cookers with the grill at the top.
Yeah.
I love that.
Bacon in there.
Yeah. Moving along conveyor belt were a much-loved part of the Generation Game, but the memory test round of the family show nearly didn't make it to our screens.
What?
A former BBC producer has revealed there was an internal row over contestants winning armfuls of prizes. Bosses apparently wanted to give away licence fee stamps instead. Good bloody BBC. Jim Moyer, not Vic Reeves, who produced the show from 1971 until 1975, said, at the time, there was some anxiety and indeed an internal row and argument about the propriety of the conveyor belt. The propriety of the conveyor belt, which is the title of my autobiography. It's coming out soon. They wanted to give away licence fee stamps. The argument went in favour of prizes. Mr. Moyer was speaking on a TV tribute to Bruce Forsyth, blah, 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 blah. I don't mean blah, well, it's a bit dismissive, but you kind of get the thing. Is there anything, because there used to be lots of things in the 70s and 80s where you'd collect stamps. There were Green Shield stamps where you'd collect stamps, and I think I have a memory of my parents having, my mum having like a little booklet, and you'd put stamps
thing,
in.
Wasn't it?
I thought you could take it into shops. I thought you could, you kind of, they're little green stamps and little squares, and you had to fill up the book.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you filled up the book, you could take it in. I vaguely remember that, but then sometimes with these faint memories, you think, well, maybe I just saw it on a TV programme, and I don't quite know. But there were Green Shield stamps. There were obviously licence stamps. I wonder what other stamps there were, and when in terms of you stuck these stamps in the booklet until you had enough money, and then I wonder what the last. I also remember in the 80s a lot, you'd see outside cafes and things, luncheon vouchers accepted.
Yeah.
What's a luncheon voucher?
I think your boss might give you those.
Do you get free lunches or discount lunches? And also, I wish we'd still call it luncheon. I know that again. The kids are going luncheon. What is this strange Latin word? It's the full word for lunch. Full word for lunch is luncheon, and the full word for tea is dinner. And we just don't. Come on now, please. Let's go to Barney.
Hello.
Hello, Barney.
Hello.
Yes.
Firstly, toasters definitely are an unnecessary luxury. Yeah.
They are, aren't they? You don't need toasters. Why would you spend 25 quid on a toaster when you've got a grill?
Exactly.
Yes.
Although my grill does, boring story, my grill does take ages to do the first side and then burns the second side.
Have you not got a toaster?
Yeah, but I sometimes like to do cheese on toast. I'll do in the grill.
Well, cheese on toast you do on the grill, yeah. But no, I've caught you out here because what you've just described is toast. Cheese on toast wouldn't burn because.
Hello,
good evening.
You do the first side.
Yeah, slowly.
Ages. Is it done yet? No, it's still bread. Is it done yet? Oh, it's just about.
Yep.
Beautiful, golden brown.
Yep.
Perfect.
Right.
Turn it over. Whack your slices of cheese on. Put it back under. Oh, it's gone black. It's charred.
Well, you need to monitor the cook. You leave a grill unattended. Are you some sort of bellend? I know the answer to that, so you don't need to reply, but you leave it unattended. When you got the cheese side
unattended, I might turn around to get a side plate.
Well, you got when you got the cheese on, you monitor it constantly, because different cheeses have different viscosity.
Get you.
Get me using the right words.
First luncheon, now viscosity. What on earth has happened to
Tony
you?
Viscosity. He produced a lot of the early David Bowie records.
Anyway.
Oh, I've made myself snot. With laughter. Barney, well, look what you've started. You've started spontaneous snotting. What have you got?
Oh, sorry about that.
That's all right, mate. What have you got?
There's a bit of a change of topic, actually. Following from last...
we're laughing, but I guess we're not going to be laughing in about 30 seconds.
Well, you might be. I don't know. Last week when you were talking about serial killers and forensic psychology and all that kind of stuff, and saying about obviously how there's in TV and film a massive amount of stuff to do with murder and all of that kind of gruesome crime.
Are you a murderer?
No.
Okay. I just have to ask that to cover my ass legally.
Legal reasons. Yeah. I assume lots of other people kind of thought the same. How it's kind of there's a disproportionately large amount on TV and film.
Yeah. All the biggest grossing movies and most popular TV shows are about murders, and the best ones, in inverted commas, are about sexual murders.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's usually a woman who gets killed.
There's a
young, sexy woman.
Yeah, no, I'm fully on the side of people that say that too much entertainment is violence against women. Yeah, definitely, there's too much of that going on. I want to see a fella getting
bumped off.
Getting what? Bumped. There was a P. But I'd be up for either. Seeing it. Well, anyway, go on.
I kind of... I don't know how many people would agree with this, but I kind of think it's just one thing that kind of contributes towards people, kind of the impression of people's minds, people's minds being very twisted and corrupted, only being kind of very extreme, anomalous thing, do you know what I mean? Rather than...
So you're saying what? You're saying what? We're attracted to the grotesque?
No. What I mean is it kind of helps towards creating the impression that people's minds being very twisted and poisonous is just in kind of extreme, anomalous people, do you know what I mean?
Well, it is, though, isn't it?
Well, this is the thing I kind of...
You think we're all like that?
No, but just that there's a lot more.
Okay, you think that a higher percentage of people is twisted, and
not not necessarily in that way.
In that case, I've got no idea what you're saying. I'm really sorry.
No.
Maybe it's because it's late at night. Kath, you following this?
I mean, not necessarily like that everyone's, that bad or in that way, but just that people's minds being twisted and corrupted and unreasonable is like only reserved for like extreme anomalous people who are, like sociopaths and.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you're saying that's not the case.
Rather than that everything else is just normal and perfectly logical and sophisticated and proper. Do you know what I mean? I don't mean that everyone is like twisted in that way, but just, there's a lot more amount out there of people's minds being corrupted and working in like nonsensical ways. Do you know what I mean? Rather than it's just that everyone's normal except for these few anomalous people.
I got it.
Get what I mean?
I think I get what you mean, Barney. It's an interesting point that is going to give some people nightmares at this time of night.
I don't mean like in ways where they are murderers and things like that, but just most people would probably say that all of these kinds of people in these kinds of films and things are like really kind of aliens, you know what I mean? Like they couldn't understand it, it's like really twisted minds.
Yeah.
But it's people being nonsensical and having like, nonsensical and twisted, broken ways of their minds working is not it's not that like virtually everyone is normal and logical and then there's just a few people that are like extremely twisted, do you know what I mean?
I do. I'm just distracted because Truth Hurts on Twitter has just tweeted, I can't call in because I work in Sydney, Australia. I know where Sydney is, mate. But a famous conveyor belt has got to be that mountain climber from The Price is Right. I think he's spot on there. Because no, he wasn't a conveyor belt. No, delete your account, Carl. That's incorrect data. Barney, you make a thought-provoking point and you make it excellently. Thank you very much indeed. Not a clue. But
good points.
No, I don't want to discourage him from calling in again because I did actually enjoy that, even though I found it hard to follow. I did actually want to. I'm obsessed with Josef Fritzl. Did I mention this on the air the day about my boy playing Minecraft? Did I say that on the air?
I don't think you said it on air, no.
Right, okay. Well, if I did, I apologise. So I was at the house and I was reading a book about Josef Fritzl, who kept one of his daughters. He had 7 kids with his wife, and one of them, the middle one, Elizabeth, from I think the age of 16 or maybe the age of 18, kept her locked up in a secret compartment in the cellar for 24 years, and fathered 7 kids with her.
Horrific.
And I'm reading this book, and my eldest calls me in to where he's on the computer. Come down, look what I'm building on Minecraft. And he's there. Minecraft is a game where you build worlds and things. And there's this noise. He stood by like a sort of like hill, and there's this noise. He said, "Watch this." And he dug into the hill, and under the hill was like a cellar with like 100, I think they're like living skeletons in there. But there's no room for them to move. Just like rocking from side to side, going, 100 of them going, and he was in hysterics. And I'm looking at Fritzl, looking at my boy, looking at Fritzl, looking at my boy, and I just went, no. But I'm obsessed with Fritzl, and I've read a book which I've lent to you. And now I'm watching a documentary about him on Netflix. And I've downloaded a documentary about Natasha Kampusch. And I've downloaded a documentary about a girl that was held prisoner for 18 years.
See, this is the horrific nature of those crimes, is that they happened in everyday streets.
Everyday streets where the people that you meet might have one of their daughters locked up in the cellar. You just don't know what's underneath the ground. Have a look.
Wow, you made a song out of that.
Yeah, I'm slightly regretting it.
Yeah.
But, well,
But that's the horror of it. Do you remember where we used to work? There was a story of
I was
a poor
thinking
lad
of
who was
writing
being
a
kept
musical
prisoner.
about him.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There was a guy that was being kept prisoner, and he was being chained up and kept as a slave. And again, that was in a normal everyday street.
Do you remember that?
Horrific.
I reckon it happens more than we think. There were was it 3 women in America that were held by a couple of guys for years. Mm-hmm. There was the young woman whose dad ran a cult in London who kept her prisoner for years. And bizarrely, she's a big fan of Gary Glitter because when she was young, Gary Glitter music kept her sane. I've messaged her a couple of times, see if we get on the show, but she never got back. I reckon it must happen a lot more than we think, right? Maybe this is Barney's point. It happens a lot more than we think. It's supposed to be a fun show tonight, guys. We'll get some laughs in a minute. Don't you worry about that.
No, and these days everyone keeps themselves to themselves, and it'd be easier to lock away the world.
Fritzl used to leave his daughter, right? Sometimes he would go away, and the daughter, and they had 7 kids, right? One of whom died a couple of days after being born. And that's what got him the life imprisonment in the end. He got done for murder in the end because he could have saved that kid, it was argued. Otherwise, he'd have been facing, like, a year for incest and, 5 years or something for imprisonment. He could have been out in 6 years. He's got life. I don't know if he's still alive, actually. But so there would be, 3 or 4 kids down there. Some of the kids came out when they were quite young. 3 or 4 kids living in 2.5 tiny rooms in a cellar that was damp, and no one else knew they were there. And sometimes he'd go on holiday for 2 weeks, and he'd leave the lights off.
Oh God!
For 2 weeks, and this poor woman, Elizabeth Fritzl, would be there with her kids, not knowing if he was going to come back. And of course, no one else knew. So if he'd have died. They'd have died. They'd have died. It really is the most incredible story. I'm just fascinated by it in a very macabre way, but also in the way this will be in the papers tomorrow. Tragic comic obsessing over Josef Fritzl. Tragic comic plans Fritzl-style basement excavation. Not at all. Just find it fascinating the way that someone's thought process and logic, because it defies logic to lock your daughter up in a cellar for 24 years and father children, and the way your whole brain wiring can get so screwed up that you think that's an appropriate thing to do. It's incredible. Kevin and Angela, stay there. We'll come to you in a bit. This is the Late Night Alternative on Talk Radio.
Moonlit musings from mums, madams, and meat packers.
Oh, never mind, I must have misheard.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
The station's brilliant.
On Talk Radio.
Good evening, Kevin.
Good evening.
Good evening, Kevin. What you got for us?
Well, I was talking, listening to you talk about conveyor belts.
Here we go. I got a feeling you install conveyor belts. Am I right?
No, not at all.
Okay, well, it was a guess. It was a punt. We'll take that out.
I've worked with automated machinery before.
Automated machinery, you say? Okay.
I have, yes.
My favourite thing, right, and now it's a museum piece. My favourite thing, and I'm not old enough to have gone to amusement arcades when this was in there, right? Do you remember these, Kevin? You'll remember these. You go to the amusement arcade, and it was a big glass box, and you put the money in, and the skeletons would come out and do a little dance.
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever see them? Mm-hmm. I'm old enough to know when they were actually in arcades and not in museums. Do you remember that, Kevin?
No, I don't, actually.
You say you work with automated machines.
Yeah, a bit more technological than that. They were called CNC machines, and you had to program them.
CNC Music Factory. I remember the very old-fashioned where they used to put change upstairs in shops. Do you Remember that? The suction tubes.
Yeah. That's like the 90s. They still do that in some shops.
I know, but isn't it brilliant?
It is brilliant, actually.
Yeah, but
Kevin's getting frustrated with us.
I was ringing up about PIP, wasn't I? And so my memory's not that.
All right, we're going to let you focus then, because we're distracting you with tangents. Go on. So you go on.
I've got what?
Hello. Yep. No, we are distracting you with our tangents, so we're going to shut up and we're going to let you say what you phoned in to say.
Oh, well, the square on the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares on the other two sides, if you're on about tangents.
There we go. Look at this. This is what I like. This is what I like. This is like Hinge and Bracket. It's posh comedy, and I wouldn't open with it, but I like it. So conveyor belts, Kevin.
Yeah. I guess I've gone off the tail a bit, but I've seen Mrs. May. She's not able to do a speech unless she's got it. She has to read it from a clipboard. Whereas I've got my own views off the top of my head with regard to PIP payments. And I don't think she uses a pedal for that, as Iain discussed earlier, when he compared conveyor belts to supermarkets.
You're not Barney's dad by any chance, are you?
No.
Okay.
I live alone. I've never met Barney before.
Okay.
I did hear him on the conversation.
No, okay.
But when Iain compared it to infrared in the supermarket.
Well, I didn't compare it to. I said it was. That's what it's based. That's the technology. It is infrared that stops the conveyor belt.
Is it you I'm speaking to, Iain?
Yeah, you're on the radio. Yes, you're on the radio, Kevin.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I recognise your voice now.
Hello, mate. How you doing? You're all right. Sorry.
I'm sound.
We need that siren. You're on the air. You're on the air. Yeah, you're on the air, Kevin.
Air. Thank you. I'm on the air. I've got no hair. I'm bald.
There we go. You see, again, I wouldn't open with that one. Oh, okay. So go on. So what do you want to say?
Well, where was I?
I can't remember.
Okay.
PIPs.
Oh, hang on. Okay, yeah.
Oh, PIP, with conveyor belts. With infrared in the supermarkets, I think the government now, anybody who claims for PIP, I think it just goes straight through the infrared unless Mrs. May presses the pedal. And I think the only way that can happen is if you go through your local MP.
Okay, hang on a second. I get your point. Are you applying for PIP, or do you know someone who is?
I have.
How did it go?
It got rejected.
Yeah, I bet it did, because they're tough old buggers on that, aren't they? I know exactly.
Aren't they just?
Yeah.
And then it went to tribunal.
Yeah.
Apparently, it works on a point system up to 12.
Yeah.
And if you get 12 points, they recognise that you're seriously ill.
Yeah.
And
how many points did you get?
12.
Hey, you should be quids in then.
Well, I got 12 at the tribunal, but at the interview I got 0. So
it's almost as if they don't want to give... The Conservative government don't want to give money to people who need and deserve money, Kevin.
That is correct. Apparently I was the fittest man on earth. I got 0.
I think even I'd get a couple of points if I went in and had
Yeah. Well...
So were you? Now, is this a recent claim, or were you on? Is it the DLA? Were you getting payments before they changed it, or is this just a new thing?
No. I have had disability living allowance about
and then you had to
15 years ago.
Oh, okay.
But I felt better after that, so I actually signed off from disability living allowance and went back to work.
Oh, mate, yes, that was your big mistake.
Well, that was the truth.
I know exactly. Again, you should
better.
You shouldn't be honest with these people. You're too honest. How are you doing? So you
Ian,
yes.
Honesty is always the best policy.
I know it is. I'm teasing you. Of course it is. But sometimes things are. I'm teasing. So are you getting money now then?
Employment and sport allowance.
Sport allowance? What's this?
Employment and sport allowance.
I've never heard of that. What does that mean?
Can you remember the old dole money?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Well, it's pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Same as that.
It was JSA when I was.
Have changed. Oh, job seeker allowance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the difference is with job seekers allowance, you have to get that. You have to sort of go for an interview on a weekly basis to let them know that you've actually applied for a couple of jobs.
Yeah.
To let them know that you're ready, you are actually trying to go to work. With employment and sport allowance, if your GP gives you sick notes for 2-month periods at a time, then your GP recognises that you've actually got an illness. So
Kevin, can I ask you?
Employment.
Can I ask you a question? It's a personal question.
Of course you can.
Okay. How old are you, man?
51.
51. Okay. Again? You don't have to answer this if you don't want. I'm just trying to get a full picture of you. What is your disability? What is your what got you those 12 points?
Well, at the interview, I didn't. I told you I got 0.
Yeah. But when you went to the tribunal, when you went to the tribunal, what got you those 12 points? What was wrong with you, in inverted commas?
I've suffered with epilepsy for 20 years.
Right, okay.
And since then, I've suffered a heart attack as well.
Oh, blimey. And you said that you lived on your own. How are you finding that? Does it not drive you a bit nuts?
Well, the tribunal must have thought so. They gave me 12 points. But I've got family and friends who help me out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how often do you speak to your family and friends?
On a regular basis, daily.
Oh, okay, good. So they've got
several times daily.
You got people, whether you want it or not. You've got people that care for you, that are keeping an eye out for you.
Yes.
Good, and that's good. We all need something like that.
When I'm fine, I'm fine. But if I have seizures, which are on a regular basis, almost on a daily basis.
Is it really? You have it daily? And how bad are the seizures?
Well, I think I'm sort of top of the list. And probably due for an operation down at Queen's Hospital in London quite soon.
And does it... hang on, I'm trying to think how to phrase the question. Does it affect you mentally? Does it affect, your thinking sometimes?
Very much so.
I thought so. I tell you why, because I picked up on something you mentioned really early on, and I was talking over it a bit.
Causes a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, but you also said really early on that you kind of lose your train of thought quite a bit.
My memory, yes. Yeah. If I don't write things down, then it's gone in an instant.
Isn't that interesting? So have you got loads of notes and post-its all over the place?
Well, I always keep a diary.
Do you? And what is that? Is that to remind you of what you've done, or to remind you what you've got to do that day?
If I don't write a note down as to what I should do, I have to write a note down as to where I've put my notes with regard to what...
You need a remembering place like Kath!
On top of the bread bin.
You need a remembering place where you always put things.
I do indeed, yes.
I wrote a thing the other day about loneliness, right, and about being lonely and stuff. And how are you finding it? Are you a bit lonely?
I do quite enjoy my own company, actually, because I don't go out much now amongst the public.
Why is that? Is that because you don't want to, or you're worried you might have an attack, or why is that?
Nobody will attack me.
I mean if you have an epileptic fit, seizure.
Well, I don't know whether or not, people are aware, really, as aware as to what epilepsy is.
No.
Whereas everybody is aware of the things such as diabetes, and they just sort of associate it with sugar.
Yeah. Well, go on then. Tell me, because I'm not completely sure. I've seen the images. Okay, let me tell you what I think it is, Kevin, and you can correct me or steer me in the right direction. So I think it's like a wiring has gone wrong in the brain, and it causes, we assume, associate it with strobes and lighting and things, but it causes fits and seizures, which will have the body convulsing and foaming at the mouth and loss of memory and a passing out, and there is a chance that unless someone's there to help, that you might choke on your tongue. That's what I imagine epilepsy to be. How close am I?
That's pretty much a good summation.
Is it?
But also, you can just have a blank moment, which is what they call a partial seizure.
Right. Okay.
And you just go blank for 5-10 minutes.
Go on, Kath. Go on. Kath wants to say something.
I had a teacher like that, and he used to stop in the middle of a lesson.
Yeah.
And just stand there, and you'd realise that he was having one of those moments.
It's
funny. I tell you why, Kevin.
Perhaps he was fed up with all the kids.
It's true.
It was that too.
I'll tell you why, Kevin, because I'll tell you. I said something to Kath off microphone because I'm really glad you've called in, and we've not spoken before, have we, Kevin?
No, never. I always listen to you on the radio.
Oh, well, bless you. I appreciate it. But I'm realising your memory's not great. My memory's not great. We may have spoken 100 times and we've both forgotten. But I tell you what I said to Catherine, because I was really interested in what you were saying, and we were having a little bit of fun at the start, and then something clicked. And I said to Catherine, I wonder... Something doesn't feel quite right here. I wonder if he's got Alzheimer's. And I'll tell you why I said that, Kevin, because I thought No, I thought you were a little bit older than you were, but you can get Alzheimer's at any age. But it was that interesting thing that I hope you don't mind me highlighting, that you would, just like me, you would kind of go off on little tangents and then kind of forget where you'd been 30 seconds ago, and then go back, and there was a beautiful vagueness about some of your language, if that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm being too poetic.
Just give me a little clue.
I'll give you a little clue. Okay.
About tangents.
Yeah, about tangents, and
when I said the square on the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares on the other two sides.
There have been moments, you've been very lucid for the majority of this conversation, but there have been moments when you have sounded a little vague.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
That's probably because I'm on my last glass of wine.
Yeah, he's pissed. That's all it is. He's drunk. We've got a drunk on the line.
No.
I'm teasing.
I always, well, not always, but I find myself more at ease if I've had a couple of glasses of wine.
Relaxes.
It calms down the tremors a bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, good. Well, listen, Kevin, I've got to move on because we've got some adverts and I've got a couple more calls and stuff. I've really enjoyed your call, man, and I'd really like it if you called in again at some point.
Will do.
Any time you want. We're on Monday to Friday, 10 till 1 at night, and we'd love to speak to you again, mate.
Yeah, sure, anytime.
Thank you, Kevin. Take care.
Okay, good night.
That's up. There we go. I just felt... And we had a little bit of fun at the start, and I felt...
It took me a while, I've got to be honest, it took me a while to catch the thread, and I felt like we distracted him overly at the beginning.
We did. I enjoyed that. Thank you, Kevin. I really enjoyed that call, and I think a lot of people would have as well, so make sure you call in again. Angela and Carl, stay there. This is the Late Night Alternative on Talk Radio.
Stimulating nightly emissions guaranteed to open your eyes and your mind.
Oh, my word.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
I'm reminded of something I saw on the way back from, an interesting morning. An interesting morning. And I got a cab from London back to where I'm living. And just as we got really close to where I was, there was a car in front of us, and there was an ambulance coming the other way. But it was like one of those community ambulances. I don't know if it's paramedics that drive it. They certainly had the green kit on.
Yeah.
But it was coming the other way. And... we saw a woman start to cross the road, wasn't really paying attention, and she stopped in the middle of the road, and we're thinking, oh, blimey, what's going on here? And then I got a better look, and she was a woman of an age, I don't know what age, late 50s, early 60s, wearing what looked like a onesie, in her slippers. And the driver spotted it. He went, she's terrified. And it was a terrified woman. And thank God, I would have got out, actually. I would have got out, because I have got out before. I would have got out. But I was frozen for like 10 seconds. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to make of this. But luckily, I say this ambulance was coming. And they saw her and they pulled over. And a fella got out. And as soon as he got out, she started to back off. And I could see that she had a massive gash down her leg. About... What's that, about 6 inches? Mm-hmm. 6-inch gash down her leg. And this bloke was absolutely spot on and brilliant. He's going, it's all right, I'm not, I'm an ambulance. I just wondered where you got that cut from. She's like, I don't want to, it's fine. I don't know. I didn't really hear what she said, but she was kind of backing away. And he said, look, I don't want to come, I just wondered where you got that cut from. And I'm an ambulance. I can have a look at that if you want. He was brilliant. It was a masterclass. And I only saw a bit, and I couldn't really catch it all. But it was a masterclass in approaching a vulnerable person who's terrified. And she started wiping her leg to show that the gash wasn't that bad. But actually, it was a big old gash in her calf. And then we drove on, and I didn't see what else happened. But it just made me think, and listen... just made me think that there are some vulnerable people out there. And thank God, I saw a fella in Windsor at the weekend, right? Fella on a phone, young lad, 20, swearing on the phone. And normally I kind of and I was on my own. I thought, blimey. And I caught a glimpse of him. And it was obvious that there was an issue there. There was an underlying issue there. And you could tell by the way he was dressed and stuff. I don't want to go into detail. And he was getting very, very panicky and was shouting down the phone, I don't know where that is. Don't know where that is. And I sort of walked past him and I could just hear him getting panicky. And I thought, I've got to say something. So I went up to him and said, all right, man, you all right? What's wrong? He said, I've got to try and... My friend is in Costa opposite TK Maxx, and I don't know where it is. I said, dude, it's fine. I've got my phone. We'll Google it. We'll find it. You know, tell your friend you're fine. Well, I didn't say that. He said, a man's helping me, and I wouldn't mind talking to his friend. But anyway... But so I was on my phone and I was trying to find this thing on Google Maps and I couldn't find it. And then another bloke came over and said, "Are you all right? What's going on?" And I said, "Well, this chap's trying to find his mate. He's in Costa." And he said, "Right, well, I know where the Costa is. There's one up there." He said, "No, it's not that Costa." He said, "Right, well, there's another Costa around there in the train station." And we kind of got this, and I said to this guy, look, the train station, you're 2 minutes away, it's up there and you turn right. And the fella that was there was like, do you know what, I'm going that way, I'll take you. And it just made me think there are so many vulnerable people out there that have got nothing. Who, and that poor bloke that I saw... It would have been so easy to have snatched his phone off him. Do you know what I mean? Mm. It would have been so easy to have snatched his phone and run off. And I don't know. What am I trying to say? I just feel sad. I feel sad that there are people out there that would appear, maybe it's patronising, but that would appear that they are on their own or appear they're in trouble of some kind.
Yeah, but in this situation, it's that thing of looking for the helpers, isn't it?
Yeah.
And actually, it makes me really happy to know that you weren't the only person that wanted to help him.
Yeah.
And those paramedics are amazing.
Yeah.
There's been so many stories, been a couple of stories over the last week or so about paramedics being abused.
Yeah.
How could you do that?
This guy was incredible. He was incredible.
Well, they deal with all sorts, and they don't know what's going to land next,
Yeah.
Remarkable stuff.
I don't want to touch it. I just wondered where you got that gash from.
They know exactly how to deal with it. They're amazing.
But I don't know. It just made me feel a bit sad. I don't know why. Let's go to Kyle.
Oh, hi. How you doing, Catherine, Ian?
All right.
Hang on a second. Just try that intro again, mate.
How you doing, Catherine? How you doing, Ian?
There we go. Right, OK.
You first.
No, let's try that one more time, Kyle, and I'm going to be honest...
It's my 50p keeps falling out my pocket.
That's not your pocket. That's not your 50p, it's your tuppence. I'm going to be honest, Kyle, you're on very, very thin ice here, buddy. Let's try that intro one more time.
Well, I really, really don't want you to cut me off, because I really think you had a really good thing with the call before. However, it's my politeness, and that's how I was brought up. So
well done. You've passed the test.
First.
You've passed the test. Can we try and get Angela back?
Welcome to the factory, Charlie Bucket. You win.
You've passed the test, mate. It was a test. It was a test, and you passed it.
Thank you. Well,
well done. And let that be a lesson to the other spineless snowflakes listening that would have buckled under my interrogation and would have changed it. Cow, you would have been cut off if you changed it to LOE and LOK. You didn't, Carl. You are a man. You walk like a panther, and it's great to have you on board. What would you like to contribute to the show?
Thank you. Well, I was going to say, I listened to the call from Kevin. I think I managed to get his name down.
Yep.
And obviously, I think I've mentioned before whenever I'm in my situation, so this is like quite a serious call for me. Well, nothing around. And it's just like, it's horrendous how they treat you. I currently get PIP, but I don't.
Hang on a minute. Don't you owe the PIP like 50 quid?
No.
What happened with that?
No, I paid it off. I paid them.
He's not a man. He doesn't walk like a panther. He buckled at the first sign of.
I did. And you know what? I was told by different people going, "You can challenge that."
Yeah. And
I was like, "Do you know what? I just want it off my. I don't want any sort of, especially where I used to work. So that's a long time caller. I'm like, no, I just want to pay it off. 50 quid, right, it's gone. Yeah. But it's annoying.
That's all right, mate. No, that's all right. What you might as well do is you might as well get a big sheet of paper and write the word on it, principles, and then take a massive dump on it. Because that's what you did. That's what you did, and that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
I'll cut with that. But
I'm only teasing because I know you'll worry about it. I'm only teasing. I'm teasing. I'm just teasing. It's just a shtick.
It's all right. I was going to say, Kevin's still listening. I hope he is. And I had the same thing. Yeah. And I get PIP, but I don't get the allowance that I think you've not heard of before. The ESA, the Employment Support Allowance.
Oh, employment support. I thought you were saying employment sport allowance.
I know you thought he was saying that.
Oh, well, why didn't you correct me?
I didn't want to put either of you off.
I'll put you off in a minute. Put you off for the night, girl. Well, that sounded horrible, didn't it?
That is really horrible.
I'll put you off for the night, girl. Tragic comic on day of TV breakdown threatens to put his producer out for the night, girl. Whatever that means.
I'm writing that up now on Google Docs or whatever it is.
Yeah, Google Docs. Google Docs.com. Hey, is there a website called .com.com?
Oh, I bet there is.
Let's find out. Hang on a minute.
Some wise ass in Silicon Valley will have snapped that up.
www.com, the words, .com. Let's have a look. .com.com. Let's see if .com.com comes up. It's frozen. Is yours loading up? That means it doesn't exist.
Wow.
What?
Oh, we broke the internet.
This is good. The internet's confused. The internet is caught in a paradox loop.
It thinks, is Kim Kardashian got a bum out again? Oh no, someone's put in .com.com.
.com.com doesn't exist. Guys, we are going to make millions out of this.
You could claim on that.
I'm going to go to .com and say, guys, you might want to do a website called .com.com. Well, you got to pay me $5 million. .com.com does not exist. Because I was going to go on and see if .com.com existed. But if
What about www.
What?
www.
Hang on a minute. Type it out. www.
The actual words.
W.
Yes.
Like you as in the letter U, or you as in the word you. No, it doesn't work. Mine was cleverer. Kyle, please. Mine was cleverer. Kyle's phoned up with a really interesting point, which is unusual for him. So we should make hay while the sun shines, and let's hear Kyle's point.
Let me grab my sickle.
No, I was going to say thank you, but no, I was just going. I was in complete agreement with Kevin. I had the same issue that he has had. that they come across and they do this point thing, which is mad.
Yeah, it's outrageous. It's outrageous, and it is like it's like they don't want to give vulnerable people money. It's crazy.
But they said, okay, so this is too much personal detail. Well, no, you probably can't jump it. Right, so the quick version is they sort of said to me, all right, you can get the PIP, is it? I think it's called PIP payment.
Yeah, personal independence payments, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but then they've said, because I own my own house, they were like, well, you can't. And it's weird. I'm in this really weird situation that I'm quite young, but I got quite ill quite young.
Yeah.
But they were like, well, you can't get council tax because you've got more than 16 grand in the bank. And I was like, really?
I'm laughing because I'm laughing because it's so outrageous and it's so unfair. And but I think the PIPs are sorted for my mum now. I don't really know. They won't talk to me. They don't recognise my power of attorney. But if my mum were left alone to do what needed to be done to get her PIPs, she wouldn't have a hope in hell. And I think they bank on that. I think they bank on a lot of vulnerable people not being able to go through the forms themselves. I think they certainly bank on a lot of vulnerable people accepting the first rejection instead of appealing it. And I don't know what the percentage. It's a massive percentage of PIP rejections that are overturned appeal. And most people, when you get an official government type thing saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're not entitled to anything," you go, "Oh, that's bad. How are we going to manage?" But it's a bent system.
Do you think it's a way of forcing people to try and scrape the money together rather than troubling the system?
I think it's a way of saving money. Definitely, it's a way of saving money. I don't want to give money to, we should be the society. The measure of a good society is how we treat our kids, our elderly, and our people who are unable to look after themselves. And right now, we've got it arse over tit, and But that speech.
Sorry, Ian.
No, go on. Last minute of the show is yours.
No, I was going to say, but I think I did the same thing that you might experience, or that Kevin experienced.
Yeah.
Was like, I just, obviously, as we joked about, because it was a bit of a jokey subject last year, that I just paid my 50 quid. Yeah. And it was like, well, obviously, I was in the wrong. Excuse me. But it's just the way they treat you. And the thing that interested me about Kevin, particularly, was because people see me quite normally, or have a conversation with me quite normally, and people think, "Oh, well, hang on, is he swinging the legs a little bit? He's not really that sick."
Oh yeah.
But it's weird because, and it's what Kevin said. I'm sorry to keep bringing his name into it, but when he said, "So I've been in shops before, where I've tried to pay for something, and like my words have gone, and I've no idea how to get the right words out."
But he's a 51-year-old bloke, and I'm sure some people think, "What's this nutter?" And I've met you. You're a youngish kind of guy. And you look, you don't look ill. Carl, we've got to go, mate. Thanks for that.
No worries. Cheers, Ian.
Tatty bye. I enjoyed that tonight. That was a good show. It was ups and downs, laughs and things like that. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Sam. We will be back tonight at 10 o'clock. Don't forget.
I'm not in tonight.
Sorry?
Yeah.
I didn't give you permission.
I've got to go on a mission.
Flippin' heck. Well, you didn't run that one past me.
Yeah, I'm running it now.
Yeah, we'll run that.
Ow!
So thank you very, very much indeed for all of your calls. That was good. I enjoyed that. Well, we will have a right old laugh without Catherine on tomorrow's show. We'll show her how it's done. Oh!
Don't get sacked.
No. I forgot. I was going... sorry. Loads of the journalists and the Huffington Post and all that. I forgot. I was going to give you the inside gossip of what actually happened this morning. So, what happened was, I was booked to go on the Right Show,